Alrighty, hello and welcome everybody. Hope you're all doing very well today. So for the stream today, we are going to be doing a tier list for land battles. So I got a few of the ODM guys in to have a chat. And essentially last night I did the ODM land battle tournament. I did some streaming with Alfredino, and on the side we did a little bit of sort of like the tier list. And a lot of the guys were saying, "Oh my God, Alfredino, he's such a bad guy," right? So I was like, cool. Do you know what it is? We'll get everybody in, and we'll want to hammer through this beast. But this is what we came up with yesterday, myself and Alfredino. But what we'll do is we'll reload it, and then we'll see what some of the other guys from ODM have to say. So, of course, do feel free to chat along, ask questions. I'll quickly pop over to the guys now. They'll introduce themselves and their main factions and stuff like that, and then we'll go from there. So let's pop into the VC.
Depends. I don't know. Might do a halberd box.
There we go. So
air spam. I don't know.
Let's move everybody upstairs so they can all hear us. Nobody else can jump in. All right, lads. So we have from ODM we have Hanadins. Hanadins, do you want to introduce yourself on stream?
Yeah, so I was started playing a few years ago. Rem helped me to learn the game on multiplayer, and was there at the World Cup, reached the final stage, and then since then I am a ODM member and play like I used to play Chaos in Warhammer 2 and Lizardmen as well when they were not OP in fact, and now I am a degenerate corn main I think, and Zinch as well.
Corn and Zinch main, love that.
Yeah, probably.
Love that. All right, so we also have Loopy. Loopy, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit?
Hello. Guess I've been in ODM for I don't know, like 4 years.
And can I stop you there? You don't sound French. What's going on here?
I don't sound French. Yeah.
Hang on.
I mean,
this is blasphemy. What's going on here?
I'm only half baguette.
oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, go on, carry on. I'll let you off.
The other half is, and I've been in 4 years or something like this. I am a petty elf man.
Goddamn Elky. All right, so then we also have, and I'm going to butcher this yet again, Reem.
Yeah, Rame or whatever.
Reem.
So I started playing multiplayer since Bretonnia 3LC.
Okay.
About my time in ODM, it's a bit stranger because I was in ODM at that time, then I left, and I came back for Warhammer 3.
Lovely.
As for tournaments, I guess the only really notable fact is that I too ended in the final stage of the Warhammer 2 World Cup.
And what's your main factions?
The mains, Tomb King, a bit of Vampire Count, Empire, I guess, works too.
Oh, okay, so the undead. Okay.
Humans, dead or not.
Right, so this was so in 3 words I want you to describe. You'll be able to see it on the stream. We've got mine and Alfredino's our build of the tier list. In 3 words I want you to describe that tier list.
Well, in one word, terrible.
Okay.
Awful.
Okay. What else? Go on. Bring it on nice and thick. Come on.
Inaccurate.
Right, okay. So awful, inaccurate, and terrible. Love it. Right, so we're going to reset it, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. So what I want you to do is we're going to go through and let's see what you guys think. I'll give my tips and tricks here as well. So we'll start off. Do we want to go in like alphabetical order, or do we want to pick specific ones first? What do we think?
That's a good question.
I guess we can go alphabet.
Yeah.
It'll be easier that way.
Okay, so we'll start with the Beastmen.
Yeah. All right, so Beastmen, since Warhammer 2, they lost a bunch of things. Like they are not able anymore to deal with heavy calves since the Traitor King were. I mean, it was OP, but it was their only option as well. So now it hurts a lot, and with the single entity boost also they have trouble dealing with them.
I think it's still valuable though. I think Traitorkin is still
mean-
good, but it's not
I
like
think-
it's not what it
It's
was.
not the same, you know.
Yeah.
You are not killing models of cavalry anymore. I mean, it's
I
good.
think the best answer is Fate of Buna for heavy cav now.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
we,
makes sense.
we went from a spell that killed 22 models of cavalry, from something that deals like
Yeah.
1k damage without killing any entities,
Mm-hmm.
which is annoying because you can heal on it.
Heal them. Yeah. Okay, so Beastmen have lost their obviously their deal. That basically heavily armored cav is something they really suffer with. So explain to the guys at home why armor piercing centaurs, centaur great weapons aren't good at dealing with that.
I mean, they are good, but let's say you play against an high elf. On the paper, the great weapons are good against the dragon princes. But high elf has latency guard as well, and your great weapons are almost dead because of them.
And they have Reaver Archers.
Yeah, river archers and whatever you have, and you don't have similar things in the Beastmen roster since Dragon Princes don't care about your archers. You have the throwing axis, it's true, but all this, I mean, they are strength guards as well and die to the same thing. So
Yeah, so what we're trying to say for people at home is that although the cavalry is well designed to deal with like the elite dragon princes, for example, it's actually more the archers and other elements that are really cheap that can actually deal with the lightly armored centaurs.
yeah, I mean, you can do the thing, but you have to play really well.
Your micro has to be very strong.
Yeah, that's kind of what I like about Beastmen is like you have really to outplay the opponents to win. Yeah, so for that, the fact that also they have a lot of bad matchups, like the undead and
Yeah, they very much
and the
suffer.
melee.
So
Yeah.
for people at home, obviously they suffer against undead for like like terror routing, like low leadership, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Okay, so where would you guys put them? I want 3 different answers. I'll tell you what I want you to do. I want all of you to DM me where you think it should go. So Loopy, Remy, and then also Hannah, just DM me.
Oh, all right.
DM me with where you think it should be.
Done.
Okay. Okay.
Wait a second.
Oh.
Ooh, interesting. So we've had 2 different answers, and funnily enough, so I think we put them in C, is where we put them. So
Yeah, we can.
So we have D from Hanadins, we have C from Loopy, and then I'm going to say Reem, is D as well. So that we put C, so that's 2 C's and 2 D's. So they're probably floating somewhere between C and D.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was hesitating between the two anyway, so I think we can agree on that.
So, well, there's no E in here anyway for a start. Logic, come on. Yeah, or F. I don't think there's any F factions. I don't think, but
There is one. There is one actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, potentially one.
Yeah, there is one.
Okay. So we'll say. What do we want to say then? Do we want to say C or D? So Fernie's saying C in chat. He's saying C. Can you justify why it might be D or why it might be C? Give me a reason why I put it in one or the other.
Fernie or us?
I would say C because I mean mobility is so useful and they have so much potential in the hands of a good player that jump up to that level.
Right.
They're very squishy, but
I think the things that can keep them in C is that Stork is still there and the Butcher has been buffed because of the regen is better.
Do you think also like an element of the chariots being bugged is also a bit of a problem for Beastmen?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's only an
Yeah, so if they
issue
get-
in matchup like Dwarfs. Like their matchup against Dwarf is actually not that great now because of this.
I went up against Zinch chariots last night and they actually did pretty good against my dwarfs. I was quite surprised.
I mean, you know, if Chariot charge your army in front, they will
fine.
do fine. It will be okay. But if they try to rear charge something or to flank something, they will stop at the first model they touch because they won't
They
get
don't
their
trigger
charge
their
animation.
charge. They don't trigger their
You know.
charge. Kind of like they need to aim the front lane, but because they come from the back, they don't trigger their shards in time.
Yeah. So you imagine you go in front of the infantry line, and then you can't get out of it because then if you try to get out, you have the back of the unit.
I'll tell you what we'll do. So what we'll do is we'll put it up to the chat. We'll put C and D. So we've said C or D. For now, I'll put it in C, and we can drop it down to D if we think. But we'll see what the chat thinks.
Yeah, it's fine. I think both are fine anyway.
So we have Bretonnia next. What do we think about Bretonnia?
Sorry, Ponta.
He's not here to defend himself, so...
No, he's not here. But I think I think we agree on that. He put some effort on them. He tried to make them work. But the thing is, it's not really working. Like, you have only one choice of Lord now, because the Fey nerf is
hard.
Makes it a bit useless.
I think you can still use Alberic because of his wind spell.
Yeah.
Does his bonus as Lancer Cavalry help much, or not really?
Oh, it's nice, but it's not like game changing, I guess.
Okay. So I was thinking. Well, yesterday we saw on the ODM tournament that High Elves played up against Bretonnia. Normally it was like pretty even, but we went full spear box with Loth and Seaguard, and it was just hopeless for the Bretonian player. It actually looked like a dead set, really hard match, which quite surprised me. Why do you think that is? What's changed that?
Well, I think this came down to builds.
Yeah, I mean the build of the Bretonnia was like it was over before the game started.
Okay.
Builds on another fact is that you have martial prowess that deactivate at 25% health, so they get their bonus stats for longer, the entire High Elf roster, which makes them more resilient to charges because they got high melee defense.
I think Ultra doesn't help cavalry builds either, because they need a lot of shock damage to break lines quickly, and Ultra doesn't do that.
Yeah, it nerfs that a little bit.
I think Ultra has changed a lot of the game, which is quite surprising for me. Even things like stuff that I didn't really consider, like Norska, like with their infantry lines, like changing with like the rage mechanic and Berserk, is stuff that I'd never really thought about. Yeah. Okay. So where are we feeling with Bretonnia then? I want you to DM me your answers, the way you think they are. And I need to find my picture. So we had a picture from yesterday. Interesting. Okay. Oh, very interesting. Well, we have a solid answer. And I think you're going to have a very sad Pantelanard.
Yeah, he's sad, of course. Yeah.
So every single one of you said D, which was quite interesting. I think yesterday we put them at
B, something like B.
I think you did B or something.
Yeah, you did B.
I think we did B. Yeah, I think we did B. Yeah, maybe the big man Alfredinho was looking for some clickbait. I don't know, but no. Okay, so explain D. So why are they lower than Beastmen, or at the same level as Beastmen?
I mean,
add infantry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bad infantry combined with cavalry that can be countered by vortex and stuff like this.
And also the cavalry is quite trash actually.
Well, the cavalry only the
mid-tier stuff is really good.
The mid-tier is
Resting Knights are great.
Like the high tier is not impressive. Like Grey Knight actually lose to quite a lot of similarly priced cavalry units.
The light cav is absolutely well. Anti-Yeoman are best unit.
Yeah.
The issue that the French suffer from is that no anvil to their hammer. Oh. Well, there we go then. So what is it about the infantry that sucks? So of course, most of their infantry is kind of meant to suck anyway, but what is it specifically about it in multiplayer that sucks? Now, what don't you like? So obviously, I feel like Peasants, really, really good infantry. I think they're actually pretty decent. Cheap 100 gold. Like, what is it about their infantry that sucks?
Yes,
it's condemned to be chaff. Like, unless you take battle pilgrims to kill chaff units, so like low tier spearmen, your only role in your infantry is to be a chaff infantry. And it's not like Kate peasant spearmen who can have 80 leadership thanks to various harmony buff. No, here you got like 50 or even less.
I think the problem with land battles is if we start using Grand Cathay as a staple reference, we're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah.
Even if you take like state troop.
Yeah.
Like state troop got a bit more leadership that helps them not shatter on the impact.
So
like you can root Britannia infantry with a charge.
So what do Beastmen do better in multiplayer than Bretonnia?
They win the front line.
Yes, and single entities are a bit better, I would say.
Yeah.
Monster infantry.
Okay, and the Lord choices?
Yeah, cheap terror.
Who owns on the Lord choice side of things? Do you prefer the Beastmen or do you prefer Bretonnia?
Beastmen.
Yeah, Beastmen.
I
You have more.
I would
more
go
choice.
Bretonnia here.
You have more
Really?
choice as Beastmen.
I think Lewin is better than Bretonnia.
I think
Maybe.
Leon Kerr should be offended, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's good. He's good, but he's the only
He's
guy.
good,
Like
but
he's carrying the whole roster by himself, so it's not
I
enough.
mean, that is the law of Bretonnia. He is the only guy.
Yeah. I mean, he has that's too much for him.
So, we now move on to the High Elves. High Elves have seen a plethora of bonuses, the main one being... obviously that changed. Yeah, the martial prowess change. And then also martial mastery.
Dragons.
Martial mastery is actually even better, I think. Because that's just a huge boon with melee attack and melee defense. So loads
there
of
is
bonuses.
there is the dragons as well.
Yeah, dragon changes, and also magic damage that is really quite expansive. And being physical resistance is more common now. I think actually magic has, or at least lots of magical items and magical units is quite handy. What else do you like about the new changes to High Elves?
Well, I am not sure that they have
that
more
much
damage magic than
text.
the others. Like outside Alariel, you need to have pretty expensive things to have magic damage. Like if you take a matchup for Coast, for example, versus Coast, it was quite. I mean, it was doable for the Coast to rush with Sirens and coax the IF of Guard because of lack of magic damage. So yeah, I'm not sure with the magic damage part. Otherwise, it's I fully agree with that. Yeah, they are better at some things.
I
They
kind
are
of more
worse
meant
against
like
air units.
So, what was that, sorry?
They were much worse against air
Okay, how come?
because of the temp.
Ah, right, yeah.
That really are not good for them. They're only flying units for single entity. Not good in aerial.
So I'll tell you what. Why don't you message me your thoughts? Whereabouts are you putting them on the tier list at the moment?
It's done.
Interesting. Ooh. Okay. So this is another dilemma. We have two Bs and a C. And myself and Alfredinho put C yesterday. So, who said C? So Loopy said C.
I said C.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hanadin says B, and then B for Rima as well. So, why are they now better than Beastmen? What makes them better than Beastmen now? So before they were like a not really a joke of a faction, but they weren't excellent. And Beastmen were considerably better at Warhammer 2. What makes them better now?
Yes.
Well, they grind way better. They can actually abuse some races with their single entities. Healing is even stronger.
They have Crazy Lord now as with Teclis, for example, or Emmerich on Dragon, which were really. I mean, Emmerich was trash and a joke in Warhammer 2, and Teclis on the Phoenix was not play, but now with the potion is. I mean, he can cap himself just with that, and that's really strong. Also, you have a better infantry all around. The Silvering Guard, especially with the buff of the martial prowess and the fact that you are on ultra, not large,
Yeah.
makes them really good. So, and the White Lion is strong as well. So their mid-tier infantry is good, very good. And also, they can be decent against some high-tier factions, which is nice.
Which high tier factions in specific are you thinking of?
Singe, Vampire Coast,
The Ancient Deads
and Tomb Kings,
well, Undead.
and Dwarfs.
So I think they're lesser against dwarfs than they used to be, but I think
Yes.
that will change. I also don't think they deal with vampire counts very well anymore.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
that's
agree.
true.
We
I
agree
I
with that.
think they have. It's one of the rare option to deal with vampire counts still.
Mhm.
It's not a good matchup for you, but it's like one of the rare even matchup against vampire counts.
So
you can
it
still
seems
take
here that the chat agreed that beastmen should be in C, but it seems here that they're agreeing that high elves should be in C and not B. So it seems that of all the
I would say that.
it's now changed instantly. But yeah, it seems to be quite even. It seems that people think that they're somewhere between B and C. So I'll tell you what. For the clickbait, we'll put them in B. We'll really anger some people.
Before you do that, let me have my argument.
Go on then. Counter argument.
Okay, so my argument is that they suck against air now,
Mm-hmm.
and fighting in general so much because of ultra size and because of responsiveness. Fighting was a very big part of Elves. That's pretty much gone now, or at least a lot harder to do. That's why I would put them to B. Like the infantry is better. Silver and Guard are good. Dragons are good. Their lords are good. But their kite is bad and their anti.
I actually find the kite somewhat fine, especially because they got what's their name? Shadow.
Walkers,
Yeah, but
I think.
Shadow
Walkers.
Walkers are not a good unit.
I disagree.
They're not good.
They
have
are
I
plenty
used them
ammo.
quite a few
Plenty ammo
times, and
and
they do their job.
I feel like they suffer the same thing as like Shades, right? They try to do too much and not enough of what you really want them to do. I don't know if you agree with that, but
they lack HP for now. If you compare them to the Shadow Walker, the Shadow
Okay.
Warriors, for example.
Compare them to Waywatch. They have no AP. Less ammo.
Yeah, but in matchup where you don't need that much AP, I find them pretty fine. Like against Coast, for example, like you can snipe any bomber you want at any time with them.
But why not Shadow Warrior? They do more damage.
I think they have more. Do they have more units or the same units? I can't remember.
They got the same amount of entities. No,
they
less entities. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought it was
They got
less
more
than-
damage per
Yeah,
entities.
they have 20 less.
Yeah.
It's 18.
All right. Well, we'll keep them. I mean, chat really is voting for them to be in C, so we'll put them in C for now. I kind of agree that I think that their kite is not great. I mean, what would you do a kite against right now? So if you went Shadow Warrior kite, who are you using it against, and who's it going to be? You know, a really good game plan against.
A really good game plan against?
Yeah,
Probably
like
not many. Maybe Wood Elves.
Yeah. Wood Elves on Coast. I like it versus Coast.
so. I think,
Coast can be
Yeah,
a
you
thing.
could do it against Coast. Like,
so we said that we thought that we, being me and Alfredinho, said that they're quite one-dimensional. Was another reason that I find that they're not as strong as people think they are. They are strong in what they do, but they are very one-dimensional. Do you agree or disagree with that, Strummer?
I don't think they're one-dimensional, but I think they've lost one.
Yes, they lost one dimension
Okay.
somewhat.
All right. Well,
But yeah, like they lost some kite and they got stronger single entities instead, which may be better in the end.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll move on to the next one, and we can always come back. So we have Khorne. We have Khorne. Now,
This
Khorne...
one,
Ooh.
I have things to say, I think.
Send it in. Send in your votes. Vote in chat as well. Let me know what you're thinking. Oh! Okay. It's unanimous. It's been decided. You guys voted C.
Yes.
All of you voted C. I'm very surprised.
Why?
I
Why
don't
are you?
think they're that good, but I could be wrong. So tell me, why the NC?
How to say it? I played them like for Turin Faction War, so I had a week fully focused on them. And what can I say? People still hasn't discovered all the units that are fine now. And like things that kinda people think are a meme are in fact not a meme. Like and it can be surprisingly good.
For example,
You have two cheap lords that are very good. You have Valkyria, which basically can't die if you play her well.
She's very good.
And it's somewhat a mage because of the
Yeah.
spear of Solpin.
And you have the Herald, which is very fine as well.
I think the Exalted Bloodthirst and full as well. If you're very careful with him,
It's not that
can
good.
deal-
I mean,
like not that good, but I think
the main issue he has too many issues is that he has nothing to support his army and is expensive, so you don't have a lot of
Yeah.
stuff with him. But yeah, the unit by itself is okay. Yeah.
yeah, but it's like taking a dragon.
Yeah, but actually the
Dragon
dragon can breath
And
and
you
do
can-
things.
He can breathe.
He can do better.
Yeah,
attacks
but
as well.
his breath can't
his
damage
breath is
single
shit,
entities. No, it's not shit. It kills
No,
infantry
it's
well,
no, it's
but it
it's
doesn't
weird, like,
damage. It doesn't damage single entities at all. It works differently compared to other breaths,
Yep.
which is weird. I don't know why.
So, what makes Khorne better than Bretonnia?
they can kill infantry, they can kill cavalry. They have a
The
very good
dwarves.
skirmish cav. They can
Well,
do.
you
They
said
can
very
burst.
good. I think very good is a bit.
It's not very good at skirmishing, but it's at the same time a good melee cavalry, like a good light
I
melee
think
cavalry.
it's a really nice bonus to the core roster. I wouldn't say it's very good skirmish cavalry though, would you?
It is like even every time I
Skirmish
train
cav, it's very
them.
good, I think.
Every time I played them, you know, I was training and was asking my opponent was annoying for him to deal with my army, and it was always skirmish cav that came first.
Yeah, I think skirmish cav is needed for the roster, and I think the skirmish cav is really important for the roster. But do you think the skirmish cav itself is actually good skirmish cav?
Yes.
Yes, not at like skirmish dueling, but they help Khorne at dealing with single
Yeah.
entities, and they are basically they deal 40 damage. Like it's like twice the amount of other skirmish cav.
They're
It's
really
not-
not
They
bad
actually
in
fit
melee.
super. Yeah, they're actually pretty good.
Very
in
good
melee.
in melee.
Yeah, frenzy really does help them quite a bit there, I think, and the mark of
Yeah,
Khorne.
as well.
Okay, so you guys have said C. I won't change that because that was a renowned thing. I think we said D yesterday.
Yeah, no, you said
No,
E.
E. Yeah, sorry, yeah, we did see E.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was one of the main reasons I was mad. Like,
yeah, we really went into the full clickbait mode and we just said E.
Yeah.
I think maybe Alfredinho was thinking of you and then was like, yeah, they've got to be an E.
I don't even think he's thinking that. I mean, I think
He just wasn't thinking.
I think he's like he thinks they are trash tier. And
I was
Plays
also-
vampire counts too much. That's his problem.
Ah, right. All right, so we got a bit of a controversial one next. We have
yeah.
Ogre Kingdoms. So we have Ogre Kingdoms. Why don't you send in your votes? We put these in E yesterday. We put them at the bottom. I wasn't a fan of them. I'm still not a fan of them, but send in your votes. Let's see what you say.
I think you will laugh a bit.
No way! Boys! No, it can't be. They are not that good. They are really not
I
that
mean,
good.
maybe. I mean, I will not spoil, but
All right, no, go on. I'm only joking. But you guys have said 2 for B, 1 for C. So, okay, why B? Why B? Let's go. Let's do this. This. I'm putting the boxing gloves on now. Let's do this.
I mean, maybe if you put High Elf on C, they maybe should be C as well.
I
But
think
yeah,
there's no
go ahead.
way they're better than High
Nice.
Elves.
Go ahead, I'm.
To break down their roster, they're kind of like other races in Warhammer 1 and 2, where they got both very good and very bad matchups. Like Dwarf is very bad, but I don't know which one could be very good. Let me
Right.
check my little
Bretonnia.
Bretonnia is very good, for example. They got very good cavalry, okay range. The problem with their range is that
they got
can be
Maniter, man.
Yeah, Manitors are very good for their price. If
Yeah,
you can
agree with
afford
that.
them.
I think that are you talking about Manita Ogre pistols, or are you talking about Manita melee troops?
The
both.
Great Weapon 1 and the pistol.
Yeah,
Both.
pistols.
I think by far the Manita pistols and lead belchers for me are some of the best elements of ogres. I like saber tusks. I think they're powerful. Not really too much of a fan outside of that.
Libelchar are not that great. I mean, their damage are very good, but they get charged by anything and they are dead. And
Yes.
the Maniter pistols, it's like you charge them to shut them down, and the units you send to them die. And they are doing the same damage. I mean, not really the same, but still very good one. Yeah, so Libelchar are a bit under Maniter for sure.
So what makes them B? Tell me what makes them B. Why are they better than Beastmen, High Elves, Khorne?
They have good cheap infantry, like Noblars, Trappers, Ogre Bulls, whichever which one it is. We are still the new Gorger to test. I don't know about them yet.
Well, they are okay. They are okay, not great. It's a niche unit, but
I think
they works at what they're supposed to do.
The
But
AP
maybe
got
it's
buffed,
not
I think.
good enough for the price.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is.
They actually deal damage now.
I think they're back to the same similar damage profiles as they used to be. But of course, they've just got less models. So
Yeah, I think that is correct. Yeah.
So I tell you what, Loopy, you were C. I mean, to be fair,
Yeah.
looking at your answers, if it was down to you, they'd all be in C.
Everything is C. The reason I put them there is just because while I think their roster is good, I think they have a lot of bad matchups. So
Agreed.
I can't see myself putting them up into. For me, B tier is something that you first pick. C tier is, but more of a counter pick kind.
If I was putting them in B, I'd be starting to happy to, maybe thinking about maining them, start having them as a first pick, maybe even as a counter pick. I'm really starting to think that this is a really strong faction. Is my opinions. What are you guys thinking?
Well, maybe in that sense they can't be B tier.
I don't think I would consider B strong.
Yeah, if I take a look at our list, we made them the last one of B tier actually. So
Yeah.
I guess it's not a shame to put them on C. And I guess if the High Elf are C tier, you can put them in C tier as well.
So my argument would be if you put them, for example, in B tier, there could be a rationale that you could put them in A or a rationale that you could put them in C.
No, you can't put them.
You can't
put
put
them in A. They got too much counter pick for A, like way too much. And
Yeah.
they are very hardcore counter picks.
But if they're in C, you could probably rationalize B quite comfortably. But then I think some people could probably rationalize D as well. I mean, Alfredinho thinks they're shockingly bad, so.
But he never played them.
Yeah,
Well, there we go.
He played them on against Beastmen, and that's it.
So what are you trying to tell me? He's ogreist. Okay, I'm with you. Right, well, we'll leave him in B now. The chat seems to think D at the moment. A lot of people are really not liking them. So
I think we can swap High Elf and Ogres, to be honest.
I would say I would consider High Elves to be better than Ogres, personally. But we'll come back to it. So the next one is Greenskins. I actually really quite like Greenskins. I think they're quite a good faction still. But anyway, send in your answers. Send in your answers.
I'm not sure that's.
I already know what Loopy's is going to be, so don't worry about you. Loopy.
Yeah, no, okay. Just have to follow what we say.
These are kind of tricky.
Okay. Oh, I was shocked, Loopy. I'm just shocked. Yeah, so all three of you have said C. Okay, we said B. Why C? What makes them worse than Ogre Kingdoms, but on the same level as High Elves? So Fernie said B and A as well. So go on.
To me, they actually got a lot of bad matchups now. Like all of the new chaotic boys, except maybe Korn, but even against Korn, like it's winnable.
Yeah, Korn can win, but it's Greenskin's favorite.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
But like Nurgle, Slanesh, and Zinch will destroy you. Cathay hold you like nothing.
Vampire Counts, we don't
Vampire Counts was like it.
I mean, all of the undead
used
win,
to
right?
it.
All the undead win. So
pretty much. Even Kislev can beat you with some disgusting block whistling. Same for Lizardmen. Too much healing now on second entities.
Yeah. How do Norska do versus Greenskins now?
This should be Norska favorite, I think.
That's what I was thinking.
Because the change of the skin wolves makes the Greenskins really.
Yeah, the mobility can't really challenge the skin wolves anymore. And the mammoth is an issue, of course.
And it's a low leadership faction game.
Yeah.
Dominated by undead and leadership.
And demons.
Unbreakable. It's kind of strong.
Yo, I think you've justified it to me. I think C is probably fair. I think they have quite a diverse roster.
Yeah, they have cool things, yeah.
I think that's some really powerful entities. You know, for example, the Morgul's Manual Marauders are one of my favourite skirmish cavalry in the game. Super cheap, immune to psychology, AP, really fast. And they have like some really, really nice tools like Fanatics and Stone Trolls, and they have some really good elements about them, like Grom, for example. Yeah, you boys are getting absolutely roasted in the chat. Sun K is coming slamming about you putting ogres in B. I agree. Let me tell you now. I don't think they'll be either. But we can change. We'll do a couple and then we'll see if you guys are happy. But we'll put Greenskins in C for now. All right, we'll move on to Lizardmen. I think that's pretty happy with that. What about the Lizardmen? Send in your answers.
You'll be shocked with.
Okay. Interesting. Oh, it's renowned. B it is. So we said C. Why B?
I mean, YC first. Like they always have been good. They have been nerfed with 2 points. That are the Stalkers and Oxyotool. And Oxyotool is still good. Stalkers are not usable, I think. But outside of it, you have now very, very, very strong healing.
The crystal.
You can keep the crystal, Apotheosis on dinos, Earth's Blood.
So
you have the dwellers as well with the Earthblood Slan. You have. I mean, this gives you so much value on the battlefield. And they can't, for this reason, they can't be under that. And yeah, I guess the only reason why they are not A is because they are not that great against the other good factions.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I think top tier factions they suffer quite hard. I think.
Against some it can be okay, but not good moments, I think.
All right, well, we'll move on to one more. We'll do the dwarfs next, and then we can rejig any that you can think of. So Dowie, send in your answers, and do be warned.
Could be quite fast actually.
Okay, yeah.
I think you will be happy with that.
I feel like there might be some streamer bias. Interesting. It's quite surprising. So 2 of you said A, and then 1 of you has said B. So Loopy's going to be leaving the chat. Is basically the way that's going.
Loopy is always saying
So
things in there.
we'll put them in A for now because it looks great for me.
I think it's not too bad to put.
See,
They're strong.
I'm kind of happy that you guys agree with me because I think the Dowie are a lot stronger than people recognise right now. And I think actually the spell resistance increase is actually more significant than people think.
I think people haven't realized yet how strong is the Perfect Vigor dwarf army.
Yeah, I really they actually for me they beat quite a few of the top factions still. I think from what I've played.
Yeah, they can be good against the top 3 S tier. Like, yes.
Oh, you only think there's 3. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I mean against KO I would still say they will lose, but barely. Against Vampire Counts it can be good because you have a lot of build roulette. Against Cafe it can be good as well.
I really like them against Cathay.
And they can lose as well. It's like I think it's a pretty even matchup.
Do you think it's still the Thoric show, or do you think it's?
Oh, it's definitely Thoric for me because of the AOE that replenish vigor. Like in the end game, you can have like you had this little meta at some point with a hero core that will finish the game for you. Well, now it's the same because they basically got perfect vigor.
Yeah. It's I don't know why they decided to give that with immune to psychology, but sure, I'll take it. Okay, yeah, I could agree A tier. I think they're actually quite strong. I think also with chariots being the way they are right now, I think that they're just even better.
Yeah, or like they got more entities in each unit, so like 1 extra rank. Per infantry unit, for example, so just block chariots a bit better.
Yep.
The blasting charge are also very good.
The explosive damage. You should try Iron Drakes.
Really?
Like really? Yeah.
Trollhammers.
Really blasting.
Trollhammers torpedoes have been changed.
The fire one.
No, flamethrowers.
Yeah.
Like if you want to clean stuff.
Okay, I mean they were pretty poor in Warhammer 2, but they've also changed Trollhammer torpedoes. Their explosion radius is now larger, so they actually deal with infantry much better. They actually wreck Black Orcs. I don't know if you guys have tried that, but they're actually fucking decent. Okay, so is there anybody you'd like to switch? So we've got sort of 7, 8 here. Is there anyone you want to switch, or are you happy with how things are right now?
I would swap High Elf and Ogres.
I would put High
too.
Elf and Ogres in the.
So you put both in C, or would you put High Elves up?
I would put them both in.
I will move High Elf in B and Ogres in C.
I will swap too.
All right, as there's a 2-1 vote, I'll put them in B for now. But listen, just remember that it's not on you, Loopy. It's not on you. all you need to know is you can see the fact that this lovely blue dwarf is going to be on top of the. I'll tell you what it is. You can't take the fact that dwarfs are in A and that high elves are in C. That's what it is. I know how it is. Are dwarfs that good? Yes. Time Lord. Yes, they are very, very strong. They are very strong in the hands of a very good player. So we're going to go to the next interesting one, which is Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings have seen a plethora of bonuses, mainly from their healing and their passives. So, talk to me about that.
Passive is bug actually, which is the lore of Nekara passive, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Tell me all about it. Where do you think you guys might be putting them? What's your thoughts on it?
I'm definitely putting them very highly. That is just.
Is that A plus? Is that Loopy?
It's an A. It would be an A plus, yeah. Top of A tier, I would say.
Top B. Okay, so we've got BBA. So we put them in A as well. So we've got really in B. So we got top B. So we basically got in the middle between A and B. B. I'm going to put them in A for now because I think they're an Let's do a vote on this. By the way, the chat vote, 21 votes, actually put quite interesting. Actually, 33% for B. C got 29%, but 38% for D for Ogre Kingdoms. So,
On average, it's a C.
On average, it's a C. Yeah, so that makes sense. So we'll put this in. We'll put this in the chat. So we'll put Tomb Kings.
The reason why Tomb Kings cannot be A tier, I think,
Yeah.
is they are getting destroyed by all others A and Ace factions.
So
Even though they are good, they are really good.
My counter to that is that, for example, in Warhammer 2, would you say Dwarfs was very heavily favoured against Tomb Kings?
Yes.
Yes. And it's still the case.
It's still the case.
Even better now.
You say that, but I've played against some top Tomb King players, and they're making the matchup more even than I would like it to be.
Really?
Yeah. I think they're just far much tankier than they are perceived to be, and
Maybe you should like try more burst damage, like with Iron Drake's Blasting Charge or the little on the Engineer, the fiery ring of I don't remember.
Yeah, so I normally go like Slayer build, Blasting Charge front line, Fire Ring Atori, Engineer, Thoric Ironbrow, that kind of build. It's where I normally go, and it struggles more than it ever has done for me. I don't really know why. I still think they're very, very powerful, and I think I never ever had any problems with Dwarfs up against Tomb Kings in Warhammer 2. I now have more problems than I've ever had in my entire Warhammer career against Tomb Kings. Do you think that's just the healing, or what else do you think's changed about them?
Maybe the Nekara warriors can trade a little bit better, but they still shall lose to Dwarf warriors.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they will trade better against Slayers, I guess.
Okay, so Loopy, you back up A, and then we'll have Remy. You can back up B.
Okay.
So tell me
I
about the
think
A.
it's against the Ultra. I think that really makes all their healing a lot stronger. Makes their infantry last a lot longer. What are they called? The next better. I think it's just them got Ultra.
So let's say we take fruit rules out of the equation, and we say that you can do all of the abusive healing that you can do on ladder. Does that change your opinion?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
The fact that
Because
you
the ammunition
can
bug.
kite the fact that you have infinite ammunition with the Shaptis, with both Shaptis kite like it.
So let's say we have fruit rules, and then also your regular land battles on ranked. Would you then say that's an A? Because that was a good question from Matthew. He's saying, are we banning or unbanning?
I still find them very weak against quite a few races. Like they still don't like vampire counts. It's even worse. Some chaos faction are also still a very bad matchup, like Zinch and the Warrior of Chaos.
Yo.
Kate is not that great.
They will lose.
Ghost and Skaven is fine. Dwarf is not that great too.
It's not great, but I'd say it's certainly.
Maybe you put them in the bottom of A.
That's what.
Yeah.
They seem to beat everyone else, but all these others stupid.
I think they have a few bad matchups, but I wouldn't mind maining Tomb Kings right now. Like, I wouldn't be sad about it. Like, I wouldn't be bad. I wouldn't be sad going into a tournament thinking Tomb Kings is one of my main factions. Would you?
Until you encountered Zinch or vampire counts, probably.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we'll leave it up to debate. It looks like the chat seems to think 75% voting for A and 25% voting for B. So we'll leave them in A for now, but we'll leave them at the bottom of A.
We will have to teach the chat, I guess.
So we're now going to move on to Dark Elves. The Druchi. What are we thinking? Send me in your votes.
I was going to say it to someone else.
Okay. Interesting. What does Loopy think? Okay. So that's okay. It seems that you're all on the same page. I mean, you guys are all ODMs. So you love your elves, But yeah, it seems that it's going to be B for them. So I find that quite interesting that you think that the Druchi and High Elves are on the same page.
Well, I don't. Okay, I'll keep saying this. I don't think they're on the same level.
I don't either. I don't think they're as good as the Dark Elves. But, okay. Explain why B.
Well, I would say it. They have still they are good. The fact that they have a good trash infantry is I mean good low tier infantry is very very nice.
Very strong for their.
I mean they are maybe a bit too strong. They have good lords as well.
So Malice is unbelievably powerful.
Yeah, Malice,
The
Malekith,
healing
and
changes
dragons.
a lot for Floor.
Yeah, they have still the weaknesses like they can't heal anything. So and now as the heal are getting buffed,
So
you
Mystic,
know it's a weak point actually.
what's that for? Sorry.
I mean they don't have any healings save the Soul Stealers, so their roster is
Floor Stealer's
weaker
quite
than
good at
others
healing.
actually.
To me, their good points are like a few lords, murderous prowess, which basically refresh your vigor, and corsairs, like compared to the previous iteration of Dark Elf in Warhammer 2. It helps a lot against some races, but it's still not enough to challenge the top tier. Like actually, they are even worse against some faction in the top tier because Morati is not dead, but
She's pretty dead.
She doesn't-
She's pretty dead.
She has Pit of Shades.
yeah, but
No,
she
she's
does.
dead
She
still.
can't. She doesn't define matchups anymore.
Yeah, but
I guess so.
you wouldn't want to bring it just a bit of shades, though, would you?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't.
Probably
I
not.
wouldn't. I would just go a Shadows caster, personally. But I hear what you're saying.
I will go Malekith, but I play way too much Malekith.
We have a simp in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Right, so... Alright, so B seems pretty renowned there from everyone. So, an interesting one. I think this is going to be interesting. Norska. Send in your answers.
Alright.
I think this is going to be a little bit all over the shop, I think. But I'm interested.
I think I have this, yeah.
I don't know
Oh
what...
no, actually,
I don't know what that one means, Loopy.
Yeah, it's a typo.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
Something is
E for victory.
Yeah, V for victory. Interesting. So it looks like Reem's going to be on a different wavelength to you guys this time. So he said C. You guys have said B.
I could have said C, yeah.
I probably could.
The fact that I keep them in B is that the mobility part is very strong now, and they have better infantry. But the things that the Skin Wolf will cap each game, it's very 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 helping them.
So I saw that Mofet was using skin walls with triple gold chevron. Is that pretty standard now in the meta?
I
I
think
don't
it's
think so.
Moffat only.
Mofet only, okay.
I mean, people generally don't really use chevroning mechanics too much because it's very niche. So you actually have to.
You
Find
have
a
to
good
be a bit
application for it.
desperate. To...
Yeah.
I mean, I assume he did it for like vigor markers and leadership and trying to not lose too many
Yeah.
models, perhaps. I mean,
It's like me trying to convince myself that man at arms are Empire swordsmen by giving them chevrons, you know?
Yep. Okay, so I've got them in B for now. I've asked the chat. Most of the chat thinks C. What could you justify? I mean, if they're in B, you could probably justify A. If they're in C, you could probably justify B or D. We had them in C, I believe. I think the infantry changes were great with Berserk and going to Ultra. I really like the changes to skin walls. I mean, do you use armored skin walls or regular skin walls?
Regular only so far, but I haven't played all the matchups, so
So it was armored skin walls with the triple gold chevron for Mofet.
yeah, I saw that.
So I mean, you could say, maybe that's maybe that's a little bit over the top, but you know, he won the matchup with that. So
it makes sense to have armored Skinwolf against Slanesh, as you are countering a bit more the Hellstriders.
yeah, the Hellstriders, I think they're the problem.
But I mean, when I played them, I was against Dark Elves, and it's not the same. Like, you are crazy if you armored Skinwolf against Dark Elves.
So I don't know how much of a meme this is, but people are saying S in the chat for Norska.
I would say that.
It sounds like a meme.
It sounds like a small meme, but no. I mean, has there been any like other like big changes that you've noticed? I mean, any changes towards mammoths or Wolfric? Because I quite like Throg. I quite like Throg.
Throg is good, yeah. Throg and Wolfric are getting a bit better. So I mean, Wolfric still can't kill anything, but it's Wolfric, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the argument for Throg as well was his healing. His healing was quite nice. That's what me and Alfredino talked about. I actually quite like Throg quite a bit. The problem with him, especially in this like the Slanesh matchup, is probably the mobility. What's your thoughts?
For Throg, I guess the problem too is the leadership sometimes. He can terror pretty easily.
I mean, mobility is fine. Like he has,
Have horse.
he has. Oh, yeah, he has. I mean, 56 is okay, and he has frostbite as well, so he can slow things. You know, so hard to get out of fog, so it's fine.
Okay, but of course he also doesn't bring that terror.
Yeah.
Also, big update, you can now get the Regiment of Renowned Frostburn. Big news there.
Yeah.
What does it do again? I don't even remember.
Guardian.
It comes with Guardian.
Amazing Guardian.
Oh yeah, Guardian.
I mean, the Guardian is maybe just a bit too expensive. Like,
It's sort of. I mean, how many flying lords do you have? You know what I mean?
yeah.
And it also lacks some VFX. Like it doesn't have the snows around.
Listen, I was happy for any DLC for Norska, so I'll take that.
Yeah, me.
But B, are we happy with B? We want to change that?
I would still stick on C.
C,
Because like even if they got a bit better at most things, they are still abused by the same things.
Yeah.
I still feel like they lose to the top tier factions still.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All the same.
Yeah.
I personally don't think they're B. If I'm being truthfully honest now, memes away, I don't think they're B. I think they're C.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, high alpha and search are better. Yeah, we can put them in C. It's okay.
I would put them top of C. I see them being on the same level now as like greenskins, etc. I don't see them being as good as like Lizardmen or High Elves.
Yep.
Okay, so the next one is... I think this one's going to be very interesting because I have strong opinions of this, but Zinch, send him in. Murder Chieftain S tier. I love that, Mr. Casual. All right. Interesting. So we had basically all the same votes. We had A, and top of A. I find that strange because I think they're S tier. But okay, we'll put them at top of A for now.
They have one big weakness is actually
Which
that
is?
keep them out of S tier, which is the lack of good option against cheap armored things.
Like basically, like your option against armor
Blue
are
horrors?
spawn. No, not really blues. They don't have much AP. Like they got horrors. No, spawns. Sorry, flamers. Spells. That's it.
Alberts, but
Well,
it's
against-
nothing
Alberts,
into, you
but
know.
Against armor, you bring Exalteds, don't you? You just bring Exalteds. They've got enough AP to do work.
Yeah, but like they need to be played very well and positioned very well,
Mhm.
and then you put them against dwarf. No way you don't nuke them instantly with dwarf. All of these options. So you end up having one thing that works in those matchup, which is your spells, like against Kete, dwarves, all these kind of actions.
Yeah, you've got chariots and stuff as well. I think their chariots are actually quite decent.
The Marauder chariots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't kill much. Like they got barrier, but that's it. It's a classic chariot otherwise.
I think the barrier
is lack of kick cap.
Okay. I mean, I really like Pink Horrors, etc. because they feel like me. They feel like Loth and Seaguard to me. I feel like they've got good melee stats. They can hold their own. Like, for example, against Slanesh, You get like Hellstriders in the flank; they're not going to die immediately. They're pretty okay AP for range. I like the Marauder Chariots with the barrier against Dwarfs even more because you can't just completely obliterate them with like Thunderers, for example. And if you get them away for a short period, they can then come back and continue to cycle charge. They got good flyers. They can summon flyers. They've got really good casters. Their magic, pink fire, blue fire, really powerful.
Blue fire is actually probably the thing that makes them A tier alone. I'm not kidding. Like this
No,
can do so much for you.
Totally agree. I also thought Infernal Gateway was really underrated. I actually thought Infernal Gateway was quite not just an amazing spell to look at, but also quite good damage. I think like the Tzeentch magic was really strong. I think Tzeentch magic is really powerful, like almost S tier on its own, in my opinion. But obviously, you guys are the experts, so.
Like a spell like Blue Fire can kill most things in the game. You can kill a bunch of cavalry models with it. You can obviously midlife infantry by shooting on the flank, like a
Even
parallel
against
shot.
skirmishers, watchers.
Yeah, against
After you get it away.
skirmishers. Like Xyphos can, if he ever comes, I don't think he will, but if he ever comes, will agree that Blue Fire alone made him lost
The Wood Elf
13
matchup.
games in one day against as Wood Elf against Tzeentch.
Love that.
Just because it counters so much of his roster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to me, like it's very close to S tier, but the fact that there is actually counter picks, like very decent counter picks to them, they are just like top A. Like if somehow they had Chaos Warriors Great Weapon, yeah, sure, put them in S because they will beat Dwarf and stuff like this. But they don't.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think for me, we'll speak about Mofet again. Strong player. Maiden, do you want to come join us? Maiden, feel free to come join us if you want to come join us. We're just in my VC. Just join and I'll pop you up if you want to come chat and get your opinions. But he said High Elves and B. That's more like it. He's quite happy about it.
Yeah.
But I think what I was going to say about Tzeentch. Yeah, Tzeentch. I think Tzeentch magic. Like if you bring out any Tzeentch caster, they can guarantee you like 3k value in the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I mean, on a caster, that's flipping absurd.
Yeah,
and
like you can do this with one spell that costs 5 Wind of Magic. Again, I can't stress enough that.
I well and truly think like Mofet went and won the faction war with them and showed just how powerful they can really be. Maybe I give them too much love. But I think they are strong.
Yeah.
We'll say top of 80 then. We'll say top of 80.
What's funny about Mofet is that in some matchups he actually like play his very like I take my time play style. I'll poke you until you die. I use my barrier a lot.
Yeah.
But like in matchup like versus Empire, you can actually just rush the guy and kill him like this. Like you get warriors on blue horrors, you bully his front lane, and then you swarm him with light cavalry on maybe one knight on two knight. Like you can actually be very aggressive against some of the faction where Mofet just like try to poke for 15 minutes.
All right. Well,
he shows how strong they are, but only like one part of the story.
Okay, so we'll leave them at top of A then.
Yeah.
Let's sorry. Just messaging Maiden now, see if he wants to join us. He'd be more than welcome to.
Yeah, he answered in the chat.
I'm not knowledgeable enough. Just started 2 weeks ago, but thanks for offering. Oh yeah, no problem, Maiden, no problem. All right, well we'll move on to the next one. So we got Nurgle. I think Nurgle is a very niche pick, I think, in land battles. But talk to me about it. Give me your responses.
Yeah, it is like it can be okay against some factions that are actually good, but it will be destroyed by so many of them. I mean, if you forget about Nurgle and you pick without thinking about it, you can be just it can be just auto lose. But for most of the case, you won't be able to play it.
This is the definition of a counterpick. It's
Yeah,
good
yeah,
against
but-
races that have low shooting. Except for fire counts, will grind them.
So
but
we've
that's
had
another story.
2 C's and a D.
I guess it'll be
right.
the D.
HGM, I understand that you think high elves are crap and you've always thought high elves are crap. I'm telling you now, the ODM boys who are some of the best players in the game are telling you they're on B. And I agree with them being on B. I know you really want to... I know you love the high elves so much that you think they're pure garbage. And I agree. I don't think they're as good as dark elves. I agree. I don't think they're as good as dark elves. But I still think they're very powerful now. I still think they have some great elements towards them that are better than they ever have been. I still think C, but we put B because the majority thought B. And on that note, by the way, gents, we actually have a change to make. Norska is going to be going from C to B. The chat has a overall vote that Norska is in B.
I will just say the chat is a bit overhyping them. Like they can be. There is still a lot of nasty surprises you will face.
Someone
you
is
try to
saying
main Norska, I think you will be okay against most stuff.
someone is saying that he will be farming ODM boys in ladder.
Sure.
All right, so
Go ahead. Our team.
we'll do that. We're doing HGM versus ODM stream. We'll get him on. So what we're saying here is that we now got Nurgle. We had 2 C's and a D. So what makes Nurgle as good as... Well, I put them at the top of C. I put like Norska at the top of C. What makes Nurgle near that level?
Because they can beat some factions.
Yeah. Yeah, like they are actually a very strong counterpicks against some factions. That's what saves them.
Mm-hmm.
They have a niche and they are very good at it. But outside of this niche, they don't exist.
I think
Almost.
any faction with a good level of range and they struggle quite hard.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can to an extent save yourself with some mobility, but it won't.
I have both good news and bad news since Alfred is going to join us.
Ah, the man, the myth, the legend. Yeah, tell him to join the chat and I'll pull him up.
Yeah, I did.
So prepare yourself. We are gonna do all the tier list again. Like
In 10 minutes, because in 10 minutes we are playing tourney.
Yeah, no problem. We'll fire through this. So we've said C. We said C. We said C for them.
Yeah, it's okay.
yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
Oh, now we have the Empire.
Empire, I think is going to be a bit of a clusterfuck here from you guys.
Without hesitation.
Hiya! Gentlemen, what is going on here? Oh la la. Okay. I think Alfredino is going to eat your shorts for breakfast. I mean, that is a bold statement to put them in B. I mean, I agree. I think he put them in D. He said D. I said C. And you guys are saying B. Yes. Okay. All right, Alfredino's here. Let me pop him up to the top.
Oh god, no.
Welcome, Lord and Savior. How are we?
Hey. How is it going?
Time to leave, I guess.
All your opinions are more or less trash, I must say. I'm very confused. What's going on? You took over the tier list and now it looks fucked.
Well, we just got. I'll tell you what, Alfredino, send me your. So we're doing it. You DM me. So DM me where you think Empire should be on the list. DM me now. I want to see your thing.
Okay, but you already know because we've been talking about it earlier.
We have. But I think these boys are saying B. What's your thoughts on that, Alfredino?
Okay, wait. I'm sending that to you.
See, we agree on that.
Okay.
I agree on that.
So,
I agree.
Okay, hear me out. How do you play Empire? Like, it's impossible right now to play Empire and think that it's a good match. It's a good faction for first pick. Literally. So you don't play it as a first pick, but you're also not playing it as a counter pick because it counters absolutely nothing.
That is not true.
Or maybe I guess
That is bullshit.
Beastmen. Oh, okay.
That is-
Maybe Beastmen.
that is just bullshit.
Up Wood Elves.
Like, is okay.
Wood elves. Okay, wood elves. Okay, good one.
And
Okay,
high
wood
elves.
elves.
Okay, they kill wood elves, they kill high elves,
Elves,
they,
no,
they
no,
kill,
no.
they
Fight Dark Elf.
they fight.
It's fine.
I mean, they will probably be losing, but they
Is
can
that
do
a hard
things.
counter though? Is that a hard counter?
I'm
No,
just
it's
saying,
not.
guys.
No.
I don't know where you're saying that Dark Elf is fighting Empire because they got like super buffed recently. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that it's impossible to play, but I'm
Yeah.
saying, are you willing to
Empire
play?
have got buff pretty.
Yeah, but
You-
Cold One Cav got buffed. What I'm saying,
They are okay against Kislev. They will beat Norska. They are okay against Bretonnia. They will
No.
beat Slanesh. I mean, there is
They're
plenty
okay
of things. There is plenty of
Slanesh.
things. Yes, there will
okay,
be
yeah.
Slanesh.
Slanesh, nice. Okay.
Yes, there will be
It's
Slanesh.
because people haven't like discovered the full extent of the power hidden behind Outriders with grenade launchers.
Yeah, and what about how do you face the 100 speed cav? Because I'm actually curious. How do you play?
With bunch of spears and halberds.
Oh,
I follow-
nice, wonderful.
I follow
So-
the great example of Tlaxlan Soothsayer who bucks every time he
And
has
also the
weapons.
Empire Knights does have a good matchup against the
So-
Elfsiders.
I might not have a
Yeah,
lot of
I-
times up for me, but I'm gonna say things. I think the issue is whenever you're playing Empire, you're probably fine playing it against Wood Elves as good counter pick. Then most likely everything else is as a better counter pick. You'll be able to play just better your factions to counter those factions. So you are only able to play it against Wood Elf, more or less. Maybe there's some new matchups, but I'm not sure about it. And then you are not going to play it as a first pick faction.
So I have something
you
in the
can
chat.
be.
They're saying War Wagons. War Wagons are a good example as to
yeah.
why they should be up there.
Yes.
War Wagons are pretty good, I must say. But I'm still like, there is absolutely no shots that it defines matchups. It is very good, as I said, but you're not going to be able to first pick the Empires solely because you can play War Wagons. Also think, okay, looking at the tier list because.
Aye, here we go.
Okay, hear me out. Britannia right there is probably. I agree. Khorne might be a little bit up, but
That's what I said.
You never play them.
Yeah, in
but
Europe,
it's debatable.
You never play them, Alfred. Play them and then we'll see.
It's okay. So Khorne up there is debatable, but I would probably put Greenskin better than Khorne for sure.
That's what I said. Yeah.
It sounds like Khorne having a good fight against it sounds like the faction is not up to Greenskin level, but
Well,
anyway.
tell me how with Greenskins you fight the 8
And
faction
High
that we
Elf-
have for now, and
Yeah, so-
and now just compare how Khorne is fighting them.
So Khorne is not fighting them. Just saying.
It is.
Oh,
I can be dwarf.
really?
I can be okay against Storm King. I can against Stinch. It's
Whoa,
not.
who can
my
I'll be
favorite.
honest. I will be honest also. I'm very curious. What's your experience about playing against dwarf? Because except against Pantalonade, everyone else will be. I'm not trusting anything or anyone other than Pantalonade to show me a good dwarf game and show me that you're beating the matchup. Just saying.
Yeah, right.
And not that again, maybe there's better players, better dwarf players out there, but I'm just saying, like right now, for the little I would know, I probably think Khorne has less options, but anyway, it's still easier.
Can you remember how many games you need to beat my Khorne with you?
I don't. Can I just?
Yeah, like you need 4 games to get
just-
1 wins.
Can
Well,
I just
well,
finish
gents,
it because I don't have time, guys.
We
I'm
have
very sorry
10
about
minutes. We have 10 minutes to do the rest of these.
Yeah, I know this is gonna try to counter all my arguments. I don't really care. You can do that later, literally in a minute. You'll be fine because I'm gonna leave. I don't have time for it. So,
Go ahead. There is still Vampire Cons coming.
so basically,
Yeah.
Augurs up there is a crime. because it's about the same thing as
I said
as
this.
Bretonnia.
You don't
I said
play
this.
them.
I said this. I said this.
I'm playing them, but don't worry. Beastman up there is debatable, but there's an argument that could be said that it could even be a D tier. But yeah, I think it's okay. So everything on the C tier right now is probably okay. I'm fine with like moving downwards the greenskins, although I would probably say it's probably B tier. High Elf right there is not it. I'm 100% confident on it.
Okay.
You cannot put High Elf on B tier and expect that it's a thing, because
You can.
it lost all its potential against Vampire Count. It's losing to Vampire Count, but it's also not winning as much anymore against Vampire Coast. I definitively think it's a decent matchup for Vampire Coast now. And you're basically not countering things, or maybe I guess like it's okay against Cinch, but
Yes. Against Dwarf as well, against Storm Kings as well. So
wait, I know this.
countering
I want you to, for a sec, to let me talk. Then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
go for it.
Sorry, go ahead.
I really don't have time. I'm very sorry, but basically, IELF can be still played as a counter, but there's very little practicability with them attached to them. Dark Elf up there could be understandable, and Lizardmen up there is, I think, defendable as well. I think overall that Lizardmen is a little bit on the back foot, because except for the regeneration crystal, you don't have good. I mean, it went pretty bad for them in the recent meta. But I mean, I don't mind. You can put them B tier. I wouldn't be surprised. Then for the rest, I hope that Empire is going around C to D tier, and probably. Yeah, just the top 5 should be Vampire Count, Coast, and Cathay.
Chaos as
Alongside alongside Chaos.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Thanks for listening to me, and see you around.
Yes.
See you later,
And you
dude.
have bad taste. You're all having like trash opinions, I must say.
Yeah, and you
but,
are just a meta slave who play four race, whatever.
Yeah, but the meta slave is telling you, yeah, you can do tier list about how good looking the units are. I guess I was talking to the wrong kind of audience. I'm sorry about it. Yeah, you can continue about talking about how beautiful the models are. I guess go for it. Rank them.
All
That
right.
was terrible.
All right. Well,
And
listen.
this is the boss of ODM. You don't know how hard it is some days.
Right. Well, we've got a very short period of time, so let's hammer this out. So,
Yeah.
Slanesh, give me your numbers. Give me your letters. Where they're going.
D-
There's only really one place for me, I think. There's only really one place.
It's here.
All right.
Actually, no.
Aye! Wow! What?
All right. I think, yeah,
Aye.
that is it.
No way.
I think people underestimate the nerf they received.
Yeah.
Like it screw up a lot of matchups.
Okay, I mean, Alfredinho is going to be turning in his grave, so we'll put them in
I
C.
don't care.
That means
We'll put them in C.
Right.
So you guys have said C. I think
Yes.
that's blasphemy. I think they have to be at least B.
I
Personally.
mean, they can't fight now anymore against Dwarfs, Skaven, Vampire Coast, because they don't have chaff to die to things.
Yeah, it
And
is.
that was makes
is
lost
quite
the
weird.
8 year slots.
Yeah, I think perhaps you're right. I haven't tested it to its full extent, but they were very powerful, so perhaps.
Yes, they were.
I know it looks weird, but the chaff nerf actually hurts a lot. Like it's 75 gold per marauder. You multiply this by 5, and you got like overpriced roster by 300, 400 gold.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
So you don't have the same builds anymore.
All
You
right.
can't do the same stuff anymore.
So the next one, Kislev. What are we thinking? I actually have quite a strong opinion of Kislev. I think
Yeah, it's
Um,
somewhere between A and B.
Yeah, it's a bit obscure to me, to be honest. Because like
Mhm.
they feel B to me. I'll tell it now, but like they have so much cheese actually.
no, they do have a lot of cheese. I think they are kind of held up by a couple of elements. Was that your answer there?
Yeah.
Paladins?
Somewhere between B and A.
Okay, so you've all said B, and I think they're going to be a good, strong B tier faction, even for me.
Yeah, it
I
can
think
be.
B.
Yes. Yeah.
They have some really. I mean, what do you like about them? I love the Regiment of Renowned Bears. I think they're very powerful. I think they offer a lot to the roster. What do you guys like?
Boris, the Lord of Magic, the Patriarch, the Buyer of Blood.
Yeah.
Massive.
I mean, I don't know if you guys seen that the strongest man and the most deserving man in the entire Warhammer universe has now got Bio Blood.
Yeah, Tretch.
Trash,
Yes. Yeah, we saw that. Yeah.
I saw that in one of my tournaments the other day. I thought that was hilarious. I mean, it was deserved. I mean, he is a man that actually would stand to the last man and would fight for honor.
Imagine Tretch with a Slavic accent. Oh, here you go, you got him with Buyer Blood.
Good point is that I am in the second round of the tourney, so I can stay a bit longer.
Yes, we love that. We love that.
Thanks, Human Boy.
So we then move on to Grand Cathay. Now, I think
I could agree for once.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be probably not too much discretion here. Okay.
Next one.
Okay. Yeah. Just waiting on Anodins.
Oh, you can. I mean, I don't. Do I really have to say something?
Yes, you do. You do.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to say something. You have to
Yeah. I will.
A tier. You sure?
Yes.
So, S tier. I think probably second strongest faction in the game, if not strongest.
No, that was a joke. Yeah, guys. Yeah, it's the second one.
Second strongest. Agreed.
Yes.
Yeah, I think their Jade Warrior front line is absurd. Like
Harmony's Billy.
It's
Peasant Spears as well.
Yeah. I mean, Peasant Longspearmen have been powerful since the day that they birthed into Warhammer 3. The fact they've got charge reflection, like expert charge defense, and all the absurdities you get for 350 gold is... I don't want to say stupid, but...
It's stupid.
It is.
Yeah.
They get too much from Harmony. Like if somehow Harmony gives stats in like a percentage base, it would be fine. But now it gives flat statistics, so it makes very low tier units very good.
Okay, well, I don't think we need to say much more about that. I think Winter Magic, Peasant Long Spearmen, Jade Warriors, they're all bloody good.
AFK, go make.
Yeah, honestly, you could probably just AFK shit strat, and then make a coffee or something, and you'd probably come back and you'd be in a good state.
Dwarf with Skaven firepower on Empire Knights, and somehow they got summons too.
And they got single entities as well and air chase as well. So I mean, you don't have to play cafe now to win. So what will it be when people will actually play? It's like
Especially when they get DLC.
Yeah, let's not go there. Right, so the next one, Vampire Counts.
Well, first place.
Also,
Goodbye. Next one.
Yeah. Okay, I think we all know that they're below Dwarfs. We all know that.
E tier.
Yeah, I think they're just by far the best faction in the game.
Yes.
Quick
Like,
note.
I'm not sure because Cafe is not far away. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure how is the matchup going.
Don't just think tournaments though. Also think because obviously a lot of people playing ranked as well, right? People that play tournaments also play ranked, and ranked they're absurd. If you bring all of their healing, it's just I want to say beyond stupid. Like it's so dumb, it's incomprehensible how it became in the first place. Agreed?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay, sweet.
Like they also got perfect vigor on their blob because of the corpse cards.
Yeah. It's beyond. I mean, corpse cards were kind of fixed a little bit with Gorst and stuff. I guess maybe I don't know if that really justifies much, but it was a step in the right direction. Correct? Maybe.
I think they overdid Gorst.
I mean, Gorst was already OP in Warhammer 2 with
but
like the
600 gold is extreme.
Yeah, but it kind of needs to happen, right?
Maybe,
I mean, maybe it's over
I
the
don't
top.
know.
Maybe.
I think it's over the top. A bit ham.
But
Could have got away with.
it's crazy to think that such a nerf
300.
that is so over the top, right? We can all agree it's over the top, but it's so much over the top that has actually very little impact on the faction.
Yes.
Like currently, Vampire Counts got at worst, a few even matchups.
Yeah.
At worst.
But you
There's
can,
maybe one or two that are
But that-
they are losing.
No,
but-
they don't.
but that's also like the same for
Don't-
Cathay, right? That's the same
mostly
for
even.
Cathay. Like with Cathay,
Yeah.
they at worst have a few even matchups. Like both of these two are just like beyond dumb broken.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Skaven, I think this is gonna be quite an interesting one. Skaven is,
I think as well.
I think Skaven is very much depending on the skill level. Really interesting.
I think it depends on your global years.
Okay, so it seems to be. So we said B. I still think they have some terrible matchups. But yes, I think Globadiers really do make a difference.
Ultra made them so much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ultra diff
yeah.
is so high for them,
Okay,
and the Ratogers buff as well.
Oh, that was.
yeah, okay. I mean, A's justified. I mean, could you justify B, or is B just too much?
Well, it's too much because you need to consider that every chaotic factions outside of the Tsinche Water of Chaos, because they have blue fire, are now losing to Skavens because the rush is not working anymore.
Right.
And this is changing a lot of things for them. So now they only fear undead, and
Hey.
I mean only vampire counts and the Vikos and Tsinch. I mean
So-
factions with blue fires, you know.
So, quick question from Battlesea. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're doing really well. He's saying, what makes Slanesh so good in domination but bad in land battles? So we discussed about essentially their chaff. Their chaff getting nerfed by 75 gold, giving them no element for their cavalry mobility to be as effective as they have been. I mean, do you wanna say any more on that, guys?
I think
No, I
they're
think-
good. They can be good in. Also, they just have a lot of.
They're very counterable
Right.
in land battles.
Yeah.
Do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Well, just imagine how Slanesh will face Belacor. Like the all roster has ETP, and then you have
And
the
we
guys
don't have
which is removing ETP, and
Yeah.
I would say that and lower the leadership, and the leadership is not that high. So basically, you just lost on that.
They don't last. They have to win fast.
Yeah, they win fast or they die hard.
Yeah.
I also think they have some of the most powerful lore passes with like physical resistance and ITP. So someone that can strip that away just instantly nurse everything they bring to the table, right?
In physical resistance, it's not that big.
It's not what it. I mean, it's stronger
It's
than
only 10%.
It's good, but it doesn't change like if you strip it, all of a sudden it won't matter much. I think.
Yes, agreed. Yeah. Okay, so we'll move quickly. Hopefully that answers your question. I guess Warriors of Chaos is just Slanesh, but better. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, also.
Yeah.
Not only Slanesh. Like,
Yeah. So if we say we're now going to go to the undead, so we're going to say the Vampire Coast. So if you send in your votes, we had a pretty renowned opinion. Both me and Alfredino agreed. Yep.
I don't think
Yeah.
we can
I
be wrong on that.
I don't think. Yeah, I think they're by far A tier. I think they're probably towards the top of A tier. I don't know whereabouts in the A tier roster. They're strong. They're very strong. I've seen a lot of people using animated Hulks. That's a question I have for you guys. What's changed about animated Hulks, and why are people bringing them more?
The
They
price
cost
they
500.
cost they cost 500, and in Warhammer 2 it was 750.
Yeah.
So
So
now
you got
you have
cheap
cheap mass,
blocking
and
stuff.
you're good.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Just for me, obviously they were a complete joke in Warhammer 2, and now the
Yes,
price
they were.
cost. I still think they're not that great a unit, but I guess they're good enough now for the price for bringing monstrous infantry.
Yes, I mean they are not they are not winning the games, you know, but they are blocking things like chariots and such. That is what you need.
Okay, so next one. I think this one's going to be interesting.
yeah.
Demons are Chaos Undivided.
what's the...
Interesting. 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 Okay. So we have 1 E and 2 Ds. So we said D. Me and Alfredinho. So we have 3 Ds in total and an E. So you go first, Hanadins. Why E?
I mean, this roster has clearly one big weakness that almost every single faction can punish, is the lack of armor.
Yep, agreed.
And the only thing that can eventually makes them move to D is that they have better core.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
some cheese to kill some factions with a few, but I don't think it's...
cheese the vampire count. It's the only redeeming stuff about this. Right?
Yes, maybe,
but you can do it with Zinj too.
If you take matchups by matchups, they are just losing to everybody.
So I think they have like terrible weaknesses, but I'm surprised that you see the terrible weaknesses in Chaos Undivided, but you don't see them in Ogre Kingdoms.
They for sure don't have the...
Because actually, Ogres got some good units, like the cavalry is good. It's in
like
very well with sealing. Yeah, Crushers.
Crushers are actually quite decent, I think. Yep.
Yeah. You have the Stonehorn as well. The trash balls are... I mean, the low tier balls infantry are good.
Mm-hmm. So what do we think? Are we sticking with D or are we saying E?
You can put them in E.
I mean, if they are not in E, no one is. So
yeah.
Okay, I mean that's fine. We don't have to put them in E. If you don't truly think that anyone deserves to go in E, like well, E is basically F at this point. So
it will be sad to have Britannia to the last spot, honestly. So we'll keep demons in E.
Okay.
Like the only thing to know about demons is that they are the actually worst race in the game.
Okay.
Because they have too much
gaps and that we would like to have them back in the quick battles.
Yeah.
So please see if we are listening, because I want to have fun with skull cannons, please.
Well, anyway, we'll move on to the Warriors of Chaos. So, third best faction in the game.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, even with like Nurse to Festus and stuff like that, they're still very strong, right?
I mean, the problem for Warrior of Chaos now is the players, probably. They are not. I mean, they don't have to use their brain to play Warrior of Chaos, so they are not using them, using it, and so they are not playing. You know, it's kind of lack of Kate style, you know.
Okay. I mean, I think it's all, they've seen so many bonuses. Like, a mass DLC with like 55 brand new units coming to the game.
A lot of lords.
A lot of lords, like...
Good
you have
lords
the Zinj lords, you have Festus, you have Valkyria, you have Archeons.
You have the Zinj sorcerer.
You have the Zinj sorcerers. You have
all of the Chaos Shrines.
You have Be'lakor, of course.
Yeah, I mean, everyone brings Be'lakor at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I said. No one using.
Okay, so the last one is Wood Elves. Send me in your stuff. I think for me, there's a pretty solid answer for this. Yeah. I think we all agree. C is pretty firm for them. Do you want to delve into that a little bit?
Quite bad, ultra bad.
Yeah.
HP bad.
Bad infantry, okay cavalry, but easy to counter. The skirmisher is the only redeeming fast.
I think Dryads would take that a little bit harshly to say bad infantry. I think Dryads are okay.
Nah, well, they are good in some matchups, but they can't carry your infantry fights every time on their own.
So,
like some.
For the people at home,
Wood of infantry is okay. It's the cavalry that's really terrible.
Really?
Is that just a change
late
from?
singers are quite good, I think.
Is that the change from large to ultra? Is that what you're saying there? Is that why the cavalry's certainly been diminished?
Yeah, partly. Makes it harder to get any.
Because I liked Glade Riders. I've always been a huge fan of like cheap Glade Riders. So why are they not so good anymore?
Which Glade Riders?
The melee ones.
The 550.
Melee ones?
Right.
Yeah. The
fine. If you take Wood Elf Cav, you probably want Glade Riders.
Yeah, I think Glade Riders are still very cost efficient. I think they're still very good.
But
they are, but there is
shock unit.
there is Elves Riders. There is Empire Cav with better speed. There is more counter now.
Yeah. Anything else you don't like about it?
Well, I think
They don't Lord Snipe as well as before with the Sisters of Twilight, because they got the same damage on ammunition, but everyone got more HP.
Yeah.
So it's
So it's not the
math
same.
at this point. Yeah.
Killing artillery is a lot harder now.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. Arrows of Kurnos, are they still as good as they used to be?
Still miss
they nerfed the
bullets.
range, I think. But yeah, I mean, you know, you are still killing the models of the artillery, but there is one model more. So
Yeah. So obviously it takes more of an investment.
yes.
Okay. And that's I think actually what some people might underestimate in the chat. And the reason I'm asking these questions is, you know, I have an understanding of what I think's changed, but also it's good for people at home to know what you see change. And a lot of the changes here actually are coming from large to ultra funds. There's been some changes within the factions themselves as well. For example, High Elves is a good example. But how much do you really think that large to ultra unit sizes has an effect on the game? And what balances has it changed?
Alpha
It's had a massive
strikes
effect.
are worse overall against single entities because they are all more tankier.
I think, yeah, that makes kiting a lot worse, I think.
Do you like that? Do you not like that?
I don't like that.
I don't like that personally as well.
I think kiting is still used quite a lot. Like high mobility skirmish is still used a lot in the
That's a
game.
different kind of kiting.
Yeah, it's like war wagons kind of stuff, but it's
Yeah.
not like an army that is all about skirmishing you and trying some alpha strikes on your exposed units.
It's more
This
than a
playstyle
kite
is
into
it's
it's
like
more
an
than a
attrition.
kite into a blob.
Yeah, it's like an attrition, wear you down over like right, instead of accent.
So I think I have a final question to kind of wrap this up. I don't know how long you guys have got. So I said with all the changes coming with domination, and then all of the ways that they're trying to balance domination. So, for example, some of the reasons why Cathay are so broken is the fact of they're trying to balance them in domination. I think we can all agree with that.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not sure they don't
Well,
balance
Cafe
stuff
they did
on,
for
with
dominate.
one mod.
Didn't work.
Yeah, for Cafe they did.
Yeah, I guess for
They strictly
but-
balance Cathay the way they've done it for domination. Like they said that.
The thing is now that Cafe will 100% be nerfed next patch just because now as the domination lasts longer, it makes shoddy faction better, and now
Yeah,
Cafe will be broken
sometimes.
in both game mode, so I guess we'll have Cafe nerf, and everybody will be happy.
I think we can all agree that I still think Slanesh will get a debuff. Vampire Counts, Tomb Kings, and Cathay will probably see some debuffs. I think Hellstriders will get. I think Hellstriders will get nerfed.
Slanesh will get plus 100 on their Hellstrike. At least I hope they would. But I think
Yeah.
they should also
probably.
get buffs to their
That's significant.
Hellscourge.
Don't forget if you're gonna increase their infantry by 75 gold and then an extra 100 on Hellstriders, that's significant.
I
Yeah,
think
but I
good
think
good
they
move
will-
for Slanesh will be to lower the price of the Marauders and lower the stats instead of increasing the price, you know.
Yeah,
But it's like a
if
step
the-
back. But like
if
if
the
you
Marauders had the pre-Immortal Empire stats, they could have stayed at their previous price mostly. Because they had like 20 melee defense. Now they got like, what, 28, for example?
Yep.
So there's an interesting thing from Battlesea. So learn Vampire Counts, Warriors of Chaos, and Cathay to Stomp Ladder. Pretty much, yeah. I mean,
you don't even sorry, go ahead.
well, I was going to say there's a common thing that, you know, in the jokes of where we used to play like Among Us, you could like do it like an AFK strat. Like you could literally walk away, take a shit, come back as the imposter, and then you could go kill people, right? You could do that with Cathay in land battles pretty much. You could literally go take a crap, come back, and then you should be still in a good state to win. Like I saw.
Yeah.
I saw. I think it was AC Maiden yesterday playing Dark Elves. I loved his strategy against Cathay, and I thought of any strategy I've seen, like he went with the shade push against Cathay, and I thought, oh, maybe that could work, but just got butchered. Just got butchered.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much Battle. So yeah, learn those three right now. I mean, I think 2 of the 3 will get nerfed, and then indirectly Chaos will get nerfed as well with Hellstriders and a few elements.
The nerf that needs to come is a nerf to Fire. And there is two things. Like first, we need to have projectiles stopping going through cavalry. So you can't you are not killing you are not making half the damage on the cavalry with one
Yeah,
spell.
it just bounces through everything.
And you have to make it dodgeable actually.
Yeah. Oh, here's a question
So,
for you guys. I have an opinion. The Spear of Safnir, the corn one from
Yeah.
OP,
From Valkyria.
OP or not? I think
Uh,
OP. I think OP is my stance. I think
I mean,
I think it's too hard to dodge and it does way too much damage.
it's a very good things on not that good rosters. So if they do that, they will have to change the corn ability tree and the way they are getting points for it.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
if they do that, I mean, they can like, it's okay if they reduce a bit the cooldown and a little bit the damage, maybe just the AP damage.
Okay.
And
I like
It's
the
like,
damage. I'd just rather the cooldown be a bit longer because it's what 3 seconds.
the cast time, yeah, it's 3
3
seconds.
seconds. I mean,
Yeah,
how do you
it's-
feel about
it's-
4, 5?
it's a burning head, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it's a pendulum to be exact, but
Yeah,
Like,
no,
it's-
in terms of timing. Yeah.
So
if you want to compare it to something, it's like Warhammer 2 Norska, kinda meh, if not very bad actually, but kinda meh. But Seafang is very good.
yeah, but Seafang has a
Unfortunately.
longer turn up time and actually doesn't do as much damage, and that's exactly what I'm comparing it
No,
to.
probably.
I mean, Seafang has a longer.
Well, you also have one more one more cast to Seafang.
This is true. But if you think about the impact of 2 Seafangs against 2 more powerful spears, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm taking the spears for the immediate impact.
Yes, for sure.
Probably.
Yeah, we can all agree on that. But I think your stuff is good. I think interesting question from Battlesea on the Cathay roster: Miao Ying or Xiao Ming? I think neither. I think Dragon-Blooded Lord.
That was good actually.
I like Miao. Don't get me wrong. I think I would rather have her than Xiao.
It really depends what you.
What if you need to? I mean, if you have some Skyjanks or whatever is the other.
Mm-hmm.
Lord
Lord Magistrate.
No, the Lord Magistrate. You need but the Skyjank and the Sky Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have Miao to defend, and if you have like the Air Long Mass or such, Terracotta, you need Miao.
Yep.
And I mean, it won't be a problem to have her. But yeah, for sure, the Dragon-Blooded Lord is very, very good.
Yeah.
But
As a generic pick, you
I mean,
go
yes.
Dragon-Blooded.
the one thing I really underestimated about the Dragon-Blooded Lord is actually how powerful melee combatant it is. Like in Warhammer, like before Immortal Empires, I thought, oh, it's quite weak. Bring it here into Warhammer 3 Immortal Empires, and actually it's way more powerful than I thought.
Yeah, they kind of fight like vampire heroes,
Mm-hmm.
which are just fine, but because it's a caster on a somewhat cheap caster, it's very good.
Yeah, and also it's on a long bar as well, so it's got great melee stats. And so Spiro Safnir crushed my morale in the last game. Yeah, well, that's a good example.
Yeah.
So AC Maiden played against it, and it completely crushed his front under greenskins.
Yeah, we saw that. But yeah,
it-
also these spheres has the particularity to kill models of goblins.
Yes.
Yeah. Because goblins got like 50 something HP, and the spear deals 60 damage.
Yeah, and
So you
what
can
is it's below 50 for Seafang, right?
I'm not sure now because it has been buffed in Warhammer 3, so I will need to check
Let me
this.
check.
I think it's distance as buff, not
It
as
is
damage. Right?
it is 56.
Oh, okay. It's not as bad as I thought then. Okay, it's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah,
It got
Seafang is-
less AP, that's the difference.
Mm.
But in two goblins that would have been the same.
Yeah. That's true. Okay, so the last question, and this is a big one. My opinion is that, and I don't think this will ever happen, but balancing domination and land battles separately.
They should.
It will make things easier for sure.
So, for example, you might have Peasant Long Spearman 350 in land battle, but 600 in domination, for example. I'm not saying that's what should happen, I'm just saying that is an example.
Yeah.
Probably.
I don't think they'll do
Uh,
this.
They probably won't do it because it's a lot of work. You basically have to balance 46 faction if you do this.
Yeah, no, I
Because-
agree. So my point is, I think it would infinitely improve the multiplayer scene, massively. The problem is that we had land battles before, which we need external rules to balance in game anyway, and it wasn't even that well balanced for 15 factions in land battles. So then we've now got to balance 23 factions in land battles plus 23 in domination.
I think they first need to like try to make it so domination really like favor combined armies.
I think what they need for
Like to
domination
use most stuff, and then it probably won't be a problem anymore to have the same balance on both stuff.
So
domination needs good maps.
More maps.
It just needs good maps.
Yeah, I hope
maps
the Turins compete from creating domination maps will help the
I think
CA and the community to have.
Well, they have great maps in the they have great maps in the pocket, like no doubt they have good maps ready to go. They're just not using them right now.
Probably. Yeah.
There's also one of them that's like what was it called? What's the Slan map called? The Lizardmen one. The
Battle for Itza?
Yeah, Battle for Itza, right? Battle for Itza when it first came out, I thought was garbage. I thought it was complete shite. It was the best of a good. It's the best of a bad bunch. But it only had one central back deployment, and then 3 Vanguard deployments, right? So you could get pinned in the back so easily.
It has changed now. They added points on the sides.
Yeah. So, but what I mean is like it was like short-sighted when it came in, from my opinion.
Yes.
I played that in before the game came out, and I was playing with Dwarfs and stuff. I was like, this match is unwinnable for Dwarfs right now. This is unwinnable because if I get trapped in that one deployment zone, I'm screwed.
Yeah, and what I was doing with Cafe...
you will basically need your opponent to commit too early and kill him, and then you can push. But if it fails...
what I was doing with Cafe and that map is putting all my army and moving to one side.
Right.
So actually my reinforcements, I wasn't trapped in my reinforcements,
I've seen that a lot with people rotating through one side and then kind of dominating through that way as well. Seems quite a strong strategy.
Yeah, it could work, but yeah, it was annoying.
So, is there any other interesting points you guys want to bring up about the split?
Don't listen to Alfred.
Don't listen to what? Sorry.
To Alfredinho.
Listen to Alfred.
So here's a question for you boys: why has Alfredinho got such hard opinions?
Because he's looking only the good faction and what is good against them and around that.
Yeah. His point of view on a good tier list is a tier list where you isolate the good races and then you isolate the ones that can kill them. And that's your good races. All the rest is automatically trash.
And for example, in ours, we are more considering
all matchups.
Yeah, all matchups, and
equally.
Then checking what is happening with that.
Right. So, are you happy with your tier list? Is there anything any single one of you would change? Hanadins, would you change anything?
In the tier list?
In the tier list?
Yeah. Say it now or forever hold your peace.
Yeah. Let me see. Just lower the demons, I think. So yeah, my final statement is putting the demon in the A tier.
Okay. What about you, Rem?
Well, I would agree about the demons. I think people underestimate the ogres. Like, you can do very creative stuff with them.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do it, works pretty well. You need to like not get too imprisoned in one type of playstyle. Like, don't try lead Belcher every time. Basically.
Okay. So you would put them up to B. What about you, Loopy? Any changes?
I would consider putting Nurgle down to D. I think they're so niche.
I kind of agree. I think Nurgle is an extremely...
Really deserve.
But at the same time, they are very good. They're very good in
that niche, but it's a small niche.
It's one of those ones, right? If I got out a coin and I flipped it, heads you win, tails you lose, would you consider that a good and fair way of being consistent?
I mean...
You know what I mean? It's sort of like, for me, Nurgle, you can never first pick them. Oh, who do they truly hard counter?
They are okay versus the Warrior of Chaos.
No. Who do they hard counter?
Khorne.
Khorne.
Khorne can win that matchup. Khorne can
No
win
way.
that. Yeah, they can.
No way if the
I've
Nurgle
proved
is
it.
playing.
I've proved it.
If you
I've proved it.
stack enough
I
your
mean,
stuff,
I beat Nurgle Bob yesterday. It's unreal.
It is winnable as Khorne. It is winnable. I think if there's a significant skill gap, it's not winnable. But if you have two players with the same ability level, I think Khorne can win against Nurgle. It is.
I don't
doable.
think I will be able to win a Khorne game against any of the ODM members against Nurgle.
Interesting. What sort of Khorne build do you bring in?
I mean, if you don't have skirmish caps, you're dead. So you have to play them. So Nurgle just has to counter skirmish cap, and you're fine. And Nurgle is fine.
yeah,
But
then
Nurgle's
you-
And
very good
Kugas is the thing
Mm-hmm.
of the matchup,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't kill him without skirmish cap.
Conversely,
Or only if you have like the Error Gorgon Escadron bullying him alone on the during
corner
like
of
10
the
minutes
map.
of the corner of the map and the armies are fighting. Like Nurgle does need to spread his army, and if he doesn't do that, Khorne has no chance.
Well, I'll tell you what, I do have some good counters to why they shouldn't be in D. I think because Nurgle do counter Slaanesh, and I think they are a decent counter against the Vampire Counts. So I think my biggest issue is having Slaanesh in C. I think is my biggest issue. I think they're a B faction.
Maybe. I think Nurgle actually doesn't counter the vampire counts because you got more vigor and more regen than Nurgle, so you actually outgrind them, even if your weapon strength is debuffed to basically nothing.
Even with the Barons of the Bog and all that kind of stuff.
The what?
The Pox Riders of Error.
Yeah, the ROR Pox Riders and stuff.
Yeah. Like if you remember that the Mortis engine exists and you got your corpse cards, you are fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because you will kill all of this, and then if you play your card correctly, all that will remain is Kugath, and you can kill him with a dragon because the corpse card will keep the dragon vigor
High.
at fresh. Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna say. So you're saying that goes down, Ogres goes up, and then you're saying that Nurgle would be there. Would you be happy with that? Does that look better to you, or were you happier the way that it was previously?
Well, let us see.
looks the same.
Yeah, sorry.
Because the stream has to update.
we are a bit.
At Logic, how do you think the Tier A factions stack up against the S Tier factions in the matchup? We can certainly talk about that if the gents have time.
The A-tier factions against the top
S
three.
tier, yeah.
A versus S.
Here's a question: if you had to take one A tier faction and put it into S tier, which faction would it be?
Zinch.
Because it's the only one.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. So
Dwarf might be the thing. You know what?
I don't know if Dwarf
it's-
can.
It's not
too
as
much.
good as Zinch. Zinch is the better for sure.
I think if I had to like kind of rank this, I would say Zinch, Dwarf, VC,
But like
Tomb King, Skaven.
Zinch can't beat Cafe.
Well, there's not much. There's not much that can beat Cathay.
Yeah. I guess.
But no, I think Zinch, yeah, it was probably the one that would go up. Okay, I'd agree with that. So sorry, are you happy with the changes, or do you want me to put them back?
I mean, I find Nurgle a bit low because the
Yeah,
niche
Nurgle-
is strong again. But
Nurgle should be in seats here, I think. Although
We'll put it back. We'll put it back then.
Fine.
Do you guys agree that Undivided should be E?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
One has to be E, then it.
Okay.
It's definitely them.
So, which of the A tier factions beat S tier then? So let's start with Zinch. Does Zinch beat VC, Cafe,
yes,
or go through it?
Zinch can air cheese VC, and it's a good air cheese.
Yeah.
And it can probably face them in other ways too. Dwarf they don't beat Kate, and they probably have a chance against the Warrior of Chaos.
Well, Dwarfs don't beat Cathay.
No, I was still on Zinch.
Sorry. Yeah. So Zinch, I'd say. What about Chaos though? That's the one that I've got the question mark on.
Zinch
Warrior of Chaos versus Zinch?
Yeah.
I think it's fine for Zinch. Like
think?
you got less skirmish, which is annoying because he can bring 6, you got 4. But you can trade the blue fires for longer.
You have the net.
Yeah, you
You
can
have
play. You can do a bit of flamer play.
So you would
Like lots
say
of-
that Tzeentch can do okay against it can be vampire counts, but it loses to Cathay, but it does so win, loss, and then draw.
Yeah.
Win, loss, draw.
Cheese, loss, draw. Yeah.
Cheese, loss, draw. All right. So what about dwarfs? I still think dwarfs beat VC.
Dwarf is build roulette, draw, and
I would say
probably
it's
loss.
even with build roulette, I think it slightly favors them. I think could be wrong.
I mean, Dwarf have the initiative on the build roulette, I think.
Plus also the
Probably.
vigor and stuff. Cathay
Dwarf Casse shall be even.
should be even. I think it's slightly dwarf favored.
Crate Gunner are very annoying. You have the
True.
cannons, but I guess it will depend on the map then. So that's why I will keep it
Like,
even. Because
Okay,
both
even.
players can turn it in very different ways,
Yeah.
which can make the matchup looks very lopsided in one way or another.
That's true. Okay, we'll say even. So we'll say even, chaos.
Yeah.
So is it chaos favored for dwarfs or favored for chaos?
it's for chaos.
You think?
Yes.
Do say.
I'm not.
Do say. Do say.
I'm not sure. I haven't played the matchup enough.
So Warhammer 2
Yeah.
is heavily favored for dwarfs.
I don't agree
Yeah.
with that.
I think it was quite favored for dwarves.
And
I mean,
I
me and
heard
Britannia
people-
chat
I
a
heard
lot.
yeah, I heard people. Yeah, I heard Ponta saying that it was Dwarf favored,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't lost it a lot. So I think it was quite even. I played it on the Dwarf side as well.
Yep.
I think it was even. And now I think Chaos is. I mean, boss has been buffed,
Mm-hmm.
but Chaos is better. After all,
Okay, so we'll say even for all three then.
Yeah.
can be. I guess.
You can say no if you don't agree.
I think
I mean,
it's a decent statement.
Yeah. I'm not getting mad at it.
Okay. That's very interesting because that would make dwarfs one of the best counters then, or at least one of the more favorable counters.
Yeah. As because it's the least unfavored of
Yeah.
the rest.
Yeah.
All right, so this one's gonna be really interesting. Vampire counts. Coast, sorry. Vampire coast.
Losing 2 counts.
Yep.
Yeah. Winning to Cafe.
I think.
I
yeah,
think
I
it will
think
be
they can
even
win
to
against
Cafe.
Cathay.
I think it will be
because
even.
you got the rockets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rocket launchers.
I think it would be even as well.
Yeah,
Humble
probably even
Twist,
then.
yeah.
And
And
then
Vampire Coast shall win against Chaos.
yeah, happy with that.
Even though the Blue Fire play can be.
Blue Fire play
maybe-
can be pretty disgusting.
Yes.
I still think they win. If you let's say we take Intisti, he plays Vampire Coast against one of the best Chaos players. I back Intisti to win that probably. Fair statement.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, Tomb Kings.
They are losing to all 3.
Even to Cathay, I'm quite surprised against Cathay.
You
Yes.
can trick your way into Cathay, but it's difficult.
I
mean,
think it's Cathay favored, but I think it's not that heavy.
Yes,
Yeah,
this is
you
what
can
I
do
mean by joking
things,
tricks.
but the first time we played it with Rem, I was thinking, and it was very, very like tricky play, like sending your chariots only at one time and Arcan summons at the others, and annoying Cafe with Carrions and such. Like I felt that
While catapults were
yeah,
shooting
while
at
catapults
Cathay
were
all along.
shooting, like it was. I mean, very tricky, and if Cafe is aware of it.
So
There's no way you
I
can
have something to say. There's a question in the chat. So Battlesey's like, yeah, Cathay have crazy staying power. So the thing for you, Battlesey, if you have 100% on your what's their ability called? The yin and yang.
Harmony.
Harmony, that's the one. Yeah. So if you have 100% on your harmony and you use the Jade Warriors, the sword and shield, they beat the Norscan Berserkers, even with their
They beat Wildwood Rangers, a 900 gold AP unit.
Yeah, they beat.
I mean, they beat the Tomb King infantry, but it takes so much time. For me, it's almost well, it's not a non-issue, but it's almost there. Like, sure, you will beat my skeletons, but it will take 5 minutes, so I don't care.
Oh, interesting thing. Regiment renowned Kepler Guard, buffed or debuffed?
It got nerfed.
It got nerfed now, so
Yeah,
you have to change it.
I think overall generally it got nerfed, even with all the ridiculous changes to the lore passive.
I mean, it's back to Warhammer 2 standard. The unit. I mean, and to me, like, as I play Tomb Kings a lot, and I rarely find a niche for this unit, because every time I think they have a niche, they receive Burning Head in exchange.
Right. Okay, so we're now going to go into Skaven. Skaven against the Vampire Counts. Is Counts favored?
Yes,
Quite heavily. What about Cathay?
shall be even.
Because the
Skaven could have some
I think Skaven wins this, right? Because their Giselles beat most of their artillery, and then I think they win the front line with like bombs.
Yeah,
etc.
you can.
You forget
probably
you are forgetting the summons of the ethereal summons on the Giselle.
Yeah, but you got counterplay. You get like do an air net on the snipe the lord in the.
Well, there is physical resist, so it's kind of hard.
I think we could say even, or do you think they favored?
I think it's even.
Even. Okay. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Even.
I would say that.
Okay. I think it could go either way. Okay. And what about Warriors of Chaos?
I think it's for Warrior of Chaos.
Like,
you got the blue
because
fire.
they have the blue fire.
Yeah.
And you got. I know we said earlier that the spawn plus murder rush is not as good as before, but you got the most cost-effective one because your spawns or murder are cheaper, so you can pay other stuff. You add blue fire into the mix, and you are here.
Yeah. So blue fire cavalry. How much do they need to be increased by in cost? 700, 750?
They need to remove the warp
flame.
the warp flame of the Singe cavalry.
Yeah, I mean,
rather than increasing the cost.
Well, if they remove it entirely, then they basically just become worse Slanesh variant, don't they?
No, they have fire
So
damage.
they have
They have a shield. It's fine.
No, they don't have
I mean, not a shield, a barrier. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, well, so for the people at home, how much do you reckon? So they cost 600, of course, right? And the base unit is 500. And for that extra 100 gold, they get the warp flame, fire, magic. They get shield. They get a lot. How much do you reckon that they should cost if you had to put a cost on it for all of it?
I mean, the problem is that their cost is different compared on which roster they are in.
Just in general.
I would say
in Zinch is fine because there is only them.
Yep.
So you got 4 of them. But in
Warriors
Warrior
of
of
Chaos.
Chaos,
Yeah, that's more what I'm thinking.
you got
Warriors of
4
Chaos.
Chaos. Maybe they could be a bit more expensive in the Warrior of Chaos because they are objectively better than the Slanesh javelins at skirmishing stuff.
Agreed. Would you justify them? I mean, I've had some people that said they would justify those over the Horsemasters. What's your thoughts?
I mean, another thing to consider is that if I take again this Warrior of Chaos versus Skaven matchup, I may not have any Zinch horsemen because I will need my marks on other stuff like Hellstriders, maybe random ROR infantry, my lord. My lord take a slot because it's probably a Zinch sorcerer.
But you wouldn't get better core.
No.
Okay.
Because like I can summon a unit of Chaos Spawn. I will have a very wide army, which is pretty good against Skaven, I think. And I can spam blue fire on whatever I want. Like you can midlife globadiers with 1 blue fire on the flank.
So, what price would you put on the Zinch cavalry? So let's say they're in chaos. Yeah, what price would you put on them? Because many people are saying for the 150 gold cost you pay for Horsemasters, they'd rather just bring Zinch variant. What's your thoughts on that?
Horsemaster are better in melee, way better.
Yeah, and they still have slightly better damage. They don't have the fire on magic niche, but overall they still have stronger javelins.
Alright, I will have to leave you there just because the
No, no
and
problem.
play now.
That's
So
fine.
thanks for for the invites.
No, thank you very
I-
much for coming on
I
to
hope
stream and
now
chatting.
everybody knows the truth about that squad.
Well, we ought to do something like this again soon. Maybe get you guys on to either discuss something, play some games, go through some matchups and stuff like that.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
do
for
that.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. Is that all of you popping off? Is it?
I'm still around.
I'm still around.
Okay, I was thinking we might do about another 5-10 minutes.
I am the only one to play. Okay, so thanks and see you around.
See you soon, man.
Bye.
All right, so do we have any more questions from chat here? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, so how do you think formation has changed with the formation updates for Cathay? Has that changed much?
Well, it gives a lot of melee defense,
what,
and
8
it
melee
makes the
defense?
unit.
Yeah.
8. Oh, it makes them very good, obviously. Like it's a lot of stat buffing with harmony,
Yes.
stat stacking, I should say, which makes especially the low tier unit very good.
Can you see Cathay ever being like, for example, I could see some buffs coming for Dwarfs, even more buffs, because objectively they're bad in domination, right? So, do you think continuously just changing domination for unit or factions like Dwarfs, Cathay to become good in that game mode? Do you think it's going to ruin land battles in the long term?
Yes.
Probably. But I think currently what they are doing is that they are changing domination a lot, and like just currently Cathay is a lot better on domination because on any maps where they can like use their range.
Yep.
Like take their time and use their range.
When you say range,
So
do you mean more crossbows or do you mean more artillery?
Crane gunners,
Right. Okay.
for example, stuff like this. I mean, any range. I'm not the biggest domination player, but from what I played, it seems to be the trend.
Mhm.
So, I mean, the best is that they first need to find a formula for domination where picks are probably map dependent more than anything, which is kind of the case currently.
I think that currently does exist. It's not huge, but it does exist. Yeah.
Yeah, and also there found a formula reinforcement, whatever you can bring to the table for army composition should like promote more diverse units.
So I'm gonna go
more
full Turin on you right now. I'm gonna bring the Turin idea to the table. Turin's idea is once you summon a unit, that's it. It's in. So if you start with an army, you have your army. You can summon in one unit. Once you've had that unit, it's done. What do you
probably.
think?
I mean,
Thoughts?
I agree with this mainly because I play another game, or franchise, which are the Steel Division on Warhammer Red Dragon games. And this is this is the formula for these games, so you will be fine with it. So I'm a bit biased.
I mean,
but
I
at the
quite
same
like
time,
it.
like you will need like if they keep the current like game length, you will need like way more reinforcement if you can't human, because like even currently you are a bit thin on the amount of troops you have on the battlefield at some point.
Yeah, I think obviously you slow down the amount of troops you can reinforce, etc. But I think certainly summoning a unit in once, its impact is far greater, and therefore, I mean, it definitely becomes more army selection bias. So, for example, if you bring the wrong army, you brought the wrong army. Period. There's nothing you can do. You can't just spam stuff to make something work, right?
Yeah.
Like at the moment, a common strategy is people just summon shag tons of Chaos Warhounds, like Chaos Warhounds, like really fast infantry capture domination points. But you can do that because you can constantly keep spamming them and summoning them.
Yeah.
So this is a strategy that, like for example, I'm not a particularly big fan of. It's one that I coach with some of my students, but it's you can.
This is an issue of the capture weight, I think. Like they need to somehow make capture weight a bit more dependence on unit price.
See, this is my exact next point. That's what I was going to get onto next. I think it should have a multiplier with unit cost.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with
like
that.
the current capture weight should be the multiplier for the cost. So you will have, let's say, a skink unit. It's 300 times 4 against a cavalry unit, will be like 850 times 3, and you will have something that doesn't heavily favor some units. Also, they need to like get real with their what's the name of the passive? Expandable thing
Expendable.
policy.
Yeah.
Like it just nerfed units so bad. Like Bretonnia currently have 300 plus units that are expandable, so they get less capture weight, and then you see skinks with 46 speed and more capture weight. Because they are
but
not,
that's objectively because Bretonnia see them as expendable, you know, whilst the Lizardmen don't.
Yeah, for sure. But why does it? It makes sense for the classic Total War, but
Yeah. So,
in the game about capture weights, it has nothing to do with it.
so
Like
the-
again,
yeah.
when I play Steel Division on games like that, you have units called demoralized, which are basically shit units,
Mhm.
but they still have a capture weight.
Yeah.
If you can say so,
No,
which are equal to their
I totally
cost.
agree, and I think to back up your point, so I'm going to agree with you. I think single player has to be separate from multiplayer, and then on top of that, multiplayer has to be split between land battles and domination. That is my opinion. That is where I think you see the best gameplay in multiplayer, where you see the most enjoyment for everyone. But on top of that, so for example, yes, skinks do need expendable without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, or they need just a nerf to the capture weight.
Yeah,
Like,
or with the multiplier.
alternatively, like maybe the true rule should be any infantry unit that is 500 or below doesn't have 4 capture weight but only 3.
Yeah, I would be happy with that. So, for example, skeletons didn't have expendable, and they have the same catch rate as skinks, for example. But you know, men at arms are expendable with the same catch rate as zombies.
I think you could just do a tier system.
Yeah,
tier
probably.
1,
Like
2,
you could
3.
expand on a tier system, like the higher the tier. But I mean, again, it will be a very big mess on in which tier you put, let's say, Greatsword.
I mean, there's an interesting point here from Matthew. So he says, I mean, 23 factions, it's fine for some to be stronger in one game mode than the other, right? I agree. I think I really like the fact that when I go to land battles, there are some certain strong factions. And then when I go to domination, there's different strong factions. I really like that. And I think that is always going to be the case anyway, right? That is always going to be the case. No matter what you nerf, no matter what you change, there's always going to be something that is the most optimal, period, end of. You can't change that. But I still think enjoyment of the game itself, splitting it and dividing it and balancing it out that way, you will still find that same effect. Perhaps.
Yes, very likely. My only issue is that with this kind of way of working, like the company will need
more people
to work only on this. And I think if they are clever enough, because again, there is other games that have different game modes, like one solo, one with a domination kind of playstyle, and another one based on elimination. And the balancing is the same, no matter the game style, the game style. Yeah.
Well, Loopy, you made a mod that was monetary based.
No, I helped Samurai Warrior do a mod.
Oh, it might be Samurai, yeah. Okay. And how did that go?
I think he ended up doing what I suggested, was just having different tiers instead of modifying every unit by their cost. It was just.
Well, so what kind of problems did you come across? Was it just too much work?
I mean, it's super tedious to assign a different capture weight for every single. I mean.
Yep.
Like 1,000 something. Whatever. So I think, and for players to calculate this while they're playing, I think it's a bit much to have different weight for every single. I think dividing into
just
3 or 4 different tiers makes it much.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of hidden stat lines in Total War anyway that I think, you know, there's even stuff that I know I don't know, even though I know quite a lot of the stats in the game, and I think we can all agree there's still a lot to be learned from Immortal Empires. Even no matter what level of the game you're at, there's always a lot to learn. Is there anything within your mod that you would say that you saw a really beneficial change?
Well, the mods that I did was getting rid of comeback mechanics.
Yeah.
changing how income will
I think that was a really positive
generate
change.
and stuff like this.
I was really happy with that positive change. I really did not
Yeah.
like the combat mechanic.
Yeah, it was horrible.
I liked it to
But
begin
it's not.
with because we had really close games, but it was better for players that didn't really know the game. If that makes sense. How do I explain that better? Go on.
And other
But, like-
things, was just fixing the capture weight for like snow leopards, all these random units.
Yeah, it was absurd at points. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. Do we have any final statements on anything we talked about today?
Even if the balancing is not the greatest, like compared to Warhammer 2, play multiplayer, it's cool.
Yeah,
That's it for me.
I think don't overthink about it too much. I guess it's still fun, even if it's not entirely balanced. Anything from you, Loopy?
I would say about this land battle balancing and domination that they should balance primarily for land battles, unit stats, costs, and then domination should just change domination stuff and give us more maps. We need more maps.
So you think actually going more towards fixing land battles would sort domination out with a few changes to domination?
Yeah.
I could understand and possibly agree with that idea.
But I think the main problem the domination have is maps.
Yeah, I could agree with that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could certainly agree with that. My last question for you guys is about Pantelinard. Listen, the man's going to be very happy about one thing, Dwarfs in A tier, but D tier. We're going to talk about the Bretonians. He's going to be a sad man. He's going to be a very sad French man. What are you going to say to him when you find out that you put his beloved Bretonnia in D?
Get good.
Hope.
So I know he thinks they're like B tier.
Oh no.
I mean, how are you going to console him? How are you going to make him feel better? What's your thoughts? How are you going to let him get over this?
No, we're not going to do that. We're going to beat him up.
You're going to bully him with it, yeah?
Yeah.
Until he accepts. I mean, it's very sad for me too, because I preferred Pantalonade as a Britannian main rather than a Dwarf main.
Yeah.
No.
But the fact that
He's a dwarf main, you have to be honest. He is a dwarf main these days.
Sadly, yeah.
I mean, he is going in the right direction. He was in my book of grudges. He's looking better now. He's looking better.
No, he just lost his horse. That's about it.
There's plenty of dwarves in the Book of Grudges too.
Yeah, of course there are. But, we don't talk about this. Also, I'll tell you what, here's a question for you. Final question from me. Dwarfs, do they get hog riders?
What?
Do dwarfs get hog riders, yes or no?
No, definitely.
You definitely think so?
Definitely no.
Oh,
Which
no.
unit?
The hog riders, so dwarfs riding hogs. Like in Lord of the Rings, for example.
No.
In The Hobbit they have sheep.
I rather have
Rams,
a thunder I rather have a thunder barge on the
I'd rather have Rune
great
Guardian.
weapon units. No, not Rune Guardian. It
I
will
know what I
promote
really
next
want is
boxes.
Iron Drakes with the Drake Fire Pistol.
Drake.
Oh, yes,
the
that's
dual
what I
the
want.
dual pistols. The dual pistols. Yeah,
Drake
that'd be
Fire
cool.
Pistol.
I mean,
This would be fun.
how do you feel about like thunder barges? How do you feel about rune golems? I mean, I think rune golems could be a bit OP. But like all the, I think you can apply multiple runes to them, can't you, and stuff. So they could be.
Even if Rune Golem aren't OP, they will probably be toxic because of the perfect vigor thing, the fact that you are already in a very resilient race.
Yeah.
Like they aren't very needed. Like Thunderbarge soon way more funny. Also, it goes against the fact that most dwarf army are 20 stacks or tend to be 20 stacks.
I mean, they have to be 20 stacks just due to their limitations, right?
Yeah.
But like, do you think hog riders is a good or a bad thing? It's not law. It's not law, right?
Yeah, it's not low, and also like it doesn't like you will have to rebalance dwarf completely.
Have to
You will have to like give 50 gold to most low to mid tier infantries. Just because of this, and it will lose a lot of its identity. Because even if I don't really like the dwarf as they are now, I still like the fact that they are the dwarf.
Yeah.
If
Fair
you
enough.
want dwarves with cavalry,
Yeah, it just become what's their name? Chaos Dwarfs.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, well, let's see if we have any more questions. Domination could be balanced with cap and maps, since now it's much more about trading. Yeah, I could agree with that. Global ban solves S tier problem for the most part. Do you guys agree with that? Global bans?
It's a band-aid.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean,
Fixes.
Go on.
it's
Just
fine.
it just hides the.
I think it kind of ruins the idea of true pure competition.
I mean, I would like a pick and ban system closer to MOBA, where bans when you do one ban, it's for both players.
Yes, I can agree with that. Yeah.
And you do like a bit more intricate system with more bans and stuff like this. But the problem is that it's long to
The
make
problem is as
players
well,
do
right?
this.
Like, for example, if you're playing against me, you go, or like if you're playing against Pentelinard, you go, okay, I'm going to ban the dwarfs. You don't
Yeah,
ban you
I
don't
mean-
you don't ban the dwarves because they're OP. You ban the dwarves because you're playing Pentelinard.
Yeah, I mean, in a MOBA, it would be called a respect ban. I know you are good with
Yeah,
this race,
yeah.
I ban it.
Like respect bans are good, but like the whole idea is that it's meant to be fixing the fact that there's two factions that are beyond broken, right? So you agree with it? You agree with global bans then? Is that a yes or a no?
I mean, it's a way to do it. I'm not against it. It's pretty good in the current state of affairs because of the balancing, having very good S tier faction.
Okay. You
Look,
Lupi?
it's fine.
I don't like it, but I guess it.
I mean, it's not the greatest, but you can't deny that it's nice to not face Cathay or Vampire Counts every time.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's a bit better on the viewing aspect, right? It is a bit better that you're, because like I watched Tyran's final, his $250 final, and it was 3 mirror matches. It was Slanesh v Slanesh, VC vs VC, Chaos vs Chaos, and I was like
also,
that was his grand final as well. These guys have been playing for like 5-6 hours, and I was like, wow, what an absolutely anticlimactic final.
yeah. Also, it makes the following picks and bans a bit more dynamics because you will constantly get rid of the big boys.
So it says, Maiden saying, wait, I thought global bans were already for both players. I think it depends who you're playing for. But yes, I think they should be for both. I think they are both players currently, no?
Yeah, but what I mean is that maybe he was referring to like bans that are common for both players, like in MOBAs. The idea that you don't have global bans, but if I say I ban Vampire Counts, and then you say I ban High Elf, I don't know.
Yeah.
It means that both of us can pick it, and then we pick something, but there is not actual global bans.
There
Which means that, so if you make like 3 bans, like it means that it will have 6 global bans in total.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm very clear.
If you had, let's say one global ban each. Let's say I ban Vampire Counts, you ban Cathay, and then we do like a pick 3, ban 2. I think that would be a very acceptable way to play for the rest of a best of 3.
Maybe too. I mean, it's an endless debate at this point.
Yeah.
You can probably like change like every week just to spice it up.
All right. So last question before we end. What is currently missing in the multiplayer scene that you'd like to see more of?
I mean, all the nice quality of life that should be working, like a ladder that works properly, a chat, all this kind of stuff.
Okay. So
Also, they need to fix some unit caps problem, like Kislev having 6 chariots maximum instead of 4.
right. Anything from you, Loopy?
It's
I would
mainly
say
quality of life.
UI, like
What?
in Dominate.
Oh yeah, UI.
What's that? Sorry.
UI stuff in Domination, like
UI,
the unit
okay.
cards
The
blocking
reinforcement
you
blocking
and
the
the
view.
camera jumping around when you summon a jumps over to this.
Yeah. Ideally, when you
That's horrible.
when you summon a unit, you should click on it in your reinforcement pool and place it on the map. Then it will choose on its own the closest spawn point and use it automatically. Like what it's done in other games.
I
like
had a
the
question that someone said, do you think there they should show a portal when you summon a unit. Do you think that's fair? So, for example, if I summon a unit that has Stalk, is that fair?
I mean, currently, if you summon a unit that has Stalk, the game still says you enemy reinforcement, like
Yeah.
the little UI thing.
You can see what it is, you can see where it was summoned, and you can see where it's going for like the first, 2-3 seconds?
I don't think, I don't think it's very fair.
of-
This should get rid of it, in a way.
Mhm.
Like, the whole point of Stalk is to have a surprise unit. It's also like, if you even don't have a direct vision on the spawn point, it will tell you still.
Yeah.
Which is just as bad. Like, you should have vision if you want to see what's coming for you. It's the basic of this kind of games.
And the last question I had from somebody was Fog of War. So in Domination, if someone summons really far back in their deployment and they're coming forward, should you be able to see it if you're not within a certain distance?
It should probably be something that is solved with maps, like having actual obstacles, maybe some very slight hills that can hide units, rather than a classic, little forest, rather than literal RTS fog of wars, which are what they are, meaning a bit weird because you can see 300 meters away. You know, just take a spyglass for fuck's sake.
All right, well, guys, I'm going to say thank you very much for coming on today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, we'll have to get together again soon to do some more discussions, maybe break down some matchups or something.
Some games.
Yeah, so we can maybe break down the matchup. Let's say Cathay against VC. We talk about the matchup. Maybe I cast you guys playing the matchup, and some stuff like this. How does that sound to you guys?
Yeah, this is kind of what we do in ODM. We play a matchup, 10 row.
Sometimes, especially Alfredino, like Vampire Counts against Zinj for the entire afternoon.
Warriors of Chaos against Vampires.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming on today. I really appreciate it. I'm sure the chat does as well. Any final words?
I said it earlier, and I'm tired.
Did everything.
All right. Well, gents, thank you, and I'll see you soon.
Yep.
All right. So, guys, we're going to finish out here. I want to say thank you very much to everyone that watched today. I really hope you enjoyed this. I really hope it kind of interested in. Thanks for that. No problem. What I'm going to try and do in the future is get some of the guys together. We might do a faction breakdown. So we might say Vampire Count's going up against Cathay. Community been looking for land battle tier list. Yeah, no problem, man. It's I really wanted to go through some of the ideas of these guys. We went through a little bit with Alfredino. We've now gone through with pretty much the rest of ODM. But we'll do some individual matchup stuff. So we'll do Cathay against VC, as I said, or we could do Chaos against Zinch, and then we can do a stream where we go through a specific matchup, and then we'll play the game. I'll cast the game, and we can kind of break down some of these things for you, so you can hear some of the best players talking about these matchups, and get some really good healthy discussion going, so you guys can learn a little bit more about the individual stuff from some of the best players in the game. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, do feel free, of course, to subscribe and like. It really does go quite a long way. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And for those that have the day off tomorrow, enjoy. I will more than likely be doing a stream tomorrow, so I will let you guys know what that's going to be. Any questions on the way out, do feel free to let me know. But this is going to be the tier list. If I had to change anything, I think Slanesh with the infantry changes is interesting, but I still think Hellstriders are way too strong. I would have them in B, but that's probably the only change I would make. I make some changes here, I think. I think greenskins and whatnot are a bit low, but it's a tough debate that you could go on for quite a while about, I think. Yeah. So yeah, as I said, guys, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, I'll be seeing all of you tomorrow. And if there's any matchups in particular you want to see on the channel with myself, ODM, or maybe anybody else, do let me know. Do let me know. So, see you guys soon, and enjoy your day.